One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. Glad you guys are here. As so often happens with President Trump, he has scheduled a special appearance today, so I had to push my show back because he's due to come out basically at any moment. Here's a picture of the room. He's going to be talking about mining efforts today. And he's got Marco Rubio, Howard Lutnick, obviously himself, and a bunch of CEOs from a number of mining companies are going to be here speaking. They're supposed to come out as you can see, any second now. So I don't want to start my part of the show until after the president does his event. And I'm sure there'll be a bunch of questions thereafter as well. So we'll go ahead and cover this event in its entirety. We're not going to cut away like Fox does and some of these other people. But any minute or now, we'll see Marco Rubio, Howard Lutnick, and President Trump come out of that room. In the interim, I want to post something, a couple things that happened earlier this morning. One of them quite ridiculous. In a 2-to-1 vote, the D.C. Circuit Court blocked President Trump's plan to build a new White House ballroom, ruling the administration cannot demolish the East Wing and begin above-ground construction without authorization from Congress. Somebody want to tell them? I mean, I don't know. Does anybody want to knock on a door, maybe slide some pictures under the door or something? They can't begin above ground construction. They can't demolish the East Wing. Are these people in a time warp? Are they in a complete bubble? What the hell are you talking about? Look out your window. Look down the road. See if you see the East Wing still standing there. You morons. It's already gone. The construction is already coming up out of the ground. You notice those big cranes? When Ashley and I were in Washington and we were interviewing the congressional people, I mean, we saw it. We saw the actual construction. It's not fake. It's actually there. Somehow they decided today, and this was at 11 o'clock this morning, that you can't do it. You can't demolish the East Wing. and you can't bring the construction out of the ground. If there was ever something that shows you completely, without any equivocation, that our government is broken, it's that decision. That they're trying to stop him from demolishing the grounds and coming up with new construction. Wow. But then again, like we've said many times, great order. Enforce it. Try to enforce it. You can't. There's nothing you can do about it. President Trump kind of, he's going to play the game with these people, and he came out swinging. I mean, good thing we got a couple of minutes, all right? Because we got a couple of minutes, we can go over how he came out swinging. 2 Obama and Biden appellate court judges just voted against the desperately needed military center required for the national security of Washington, D.C., and our country itself. Highly respected Judge Naomi Rao started the following key points, among others, in a strongly worded dissent. This was a blatant abuse of discretion, talking about the court. To begin with, the district court had no jurisdiction because the trust has no standing to stop construction at the White House. Of course they don't, because of equities overwhelmingly favors the government. The district court elevated the aesthetic displeasure of a single passerby over the government's security interest in the ballroom and the security risk of leaving an open construction site at the president's home and office. Let that sink in. They expect him to leave an open air construction site right outside the back door of the east side of the White House. And this judge, like, are you people crazy? Are you bat poop crazy? I mean, is this what you really want to see happen? And the Obama and Biden judge, yeah, we just want to, leave the hole. There's no hole. It's actually, you're nuts. It goes on. And by the way, the person who filed the suit was one passerby who didn't like the way it looked. Says, here we go, continuing. In the ballroom, and the security risk of leaving an open construction site at the president's home and office. These errors in equitable judgment require vacating the injunction. The district court sees supervision of construction at the White House, and my colleagues affirm this judicial overreach because the injunction is beyond the proper province of the federal courts. Construction should be allowed to continue. What do you mean allowed to continue? Nobody's going to stop. And President Trump down here says the decision has been stayed and does not take effect for a period of time. We will be immediately appealing to the United States Supreme Court. Since this came out, he has indeed done that. The military and Secret Service are viewing this horrendous, politically motivated and unlawful ruling as a national security risk, which it is. Doug Burgum and Howard Lutnick and Marco Rubio have just walked out. We're waiting for President Trump to come out. But anyway, you guys can go ahead and read this thing. It is long. I mean, the president just came out here and slammed them. We can finish it really quick. The entire complex, military and all, is largely built, fabricated, and paid for. Much is already on site or being delivered. Why did they bring this case long prior to construction starting? There will be no expense to the American taxpayer. This unjust decision must be overturned by the Supreme Court in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this deeply important national security matter. I wish he had just come out and said, go F yourself. It's enough. We're done with these judges. Go F yourself. That's what they should have said to him. President Trump is walking into the room, so let's cut to it. Let me make sure the volume is up, and I hope they're not playing the music.
That's a very nice song. I love that song because that means you won, basically. If we didn't, we wouldn't hear that song very much. But I want to thank everybody, special people that built our country are here. And you really haven't, I was just looking at my notes, and I could do this one without any notes because there's a great love for what you do, and I think you haven't been treated well for many years, but you're making up for it now. You're really making up for it now, so it's an honor, and I'm delighted to be here at the Department of State to announce some of the largest ever investments in American mining. A great thing mining is. We're putting our miners back to work, and we're reclaiming America's rightful place as the minerals superpower of the world, which is what we are. People just didn't know that for a while. I want to thank our great Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, for hosting us. It's a beautiful building, but you know, I look at, the president's allowed to remove things from any building. And I'm liking the chandeliers. I like those Corinthian columns, but I don't know, cutting them out would be not
Epic
good.
troll.
Those are beautiful columns, but I'm allowed to do it. Every once in a while I'll come in here and grab a painting and put it at the Oval Office, right? But not too much. But I want to thank Marco. I want to thank Secretary of Interior Doug Burgum, who's done a fantastic job. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, likewise, and as well as Executive Director of the National Energy Dominance Council, Jared Agan. Thank you, Jared. And thank you all. I love that, the Dominance Council. I've never heard that one before. That's a hell of a name. Where's Jared? Where's Jared? Hi, Jared. I like that. Did you make up that? Did you come up with that?
That's all you, sir. You came up with that one.
I think it's pretty good. Thanks as well to the leaders of many of America's great mining companies who are here, and educational institutions are also joining us today. 250 years ago, America won our political independence in the Revolutionary War. In my first term, we secured our energy independence, and now in my second term, we're achieving our economic independence, ensuring that America is never again reliant on hostile foreign nations for the resources our country needs to dominate in the future. And we have plenty of those resources. Critical minerals are the raw materials of American strength that power everything from advanced weaponry to automobiles, and we want these essential products to be mined, refined, and made right here in the USA with the American skill and American hands. We have better skill and we have better hands than anybody in the world. For decades, politicians let other countries steal our mines and mining jobs. They'd close up mines, they'd buy a mine and close it because it was good for them and put American producers out of business. The United States lost more than 3,400 mines. Oh, can you imagine? 3,400. I thought they were going to say miners or jobs. It's mines. 3,400 mines over the past 3 decades. That's sad. But now they're coming back, and they're coming back faster. Many of those mines are being reopened, and a lot of new mines are being built. Over the past 18 months, our administration has signed or approved more than 160 minerals deals worth nearly $40 billion. And today, the United States is opening up new mines at the fastest pace since the 1950s. Nobody's seen anything like it. And that goes for auto plants, too, and AI, and so many other kinds of plants. We have 9, think of this, we have in a short period of time, a year and a half, and it's the numbers are for the first 12 months actually, but figure a year and a half, we have $19.2 trillion being invested. The previous administration had much less than $1 trillion in 4 years. We have 19.2 in actually 12 months, but we'll add something to it. So it's now going to be over $20 trillion. And by the way, no country ever in history has done anywhere near that number. We're 5 to 6 times higher than certain of our competitors, from very successful competitors, but we're much higher. Nobody's seen what's happening today in our country. Nobody has seen anything like it. And hopefully you'll see it again, but only for us. I think it's going to be hard to match, however. Today, the United States is opening new mines at the fastest pace, and we opened the first American rare earth mine in more than 70 years. What's that all about, Marco? We've announced the construction of the first new aluminum smelter. Since 1980, it's going to be a big one. I mean, if it's the same one, building a massive, beautiful job-producing smelter in Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma because They have 77 counties. I won all 77 3 times, right? You know, oh, he's looking, right? Nobody's, you know who second was? Ronald Reagan, 56. That's pretty good, right? I like Oklahoma. We authorized deep-sea mining to unlock vast untapped resources off our coast, and we're rebuilding the national defense stockpile and investing more than $12 billion in a brand-new strategic mineral reserve, and we're protecting American workers with historic tariffs on foreign copper, aluminum, steel, so that our people are protected. And the tariffs are what made this so successful, the proper use of tariffs, but they're really what made this so successful. You probably heard me during my campaign. I used to say, the word tariff is my favorite word, and the fake news, see them back there? They're all back there. And they'd say, what a terrible thing to say. What about God, wife, country, love? I said, it's all right. So I made it my 5th favorite word. Now I have no problem. Oh, they hit me hard when I said tariff was my all-time favorite word. It didn't play well, but it's a solid number 5, and now I'm okay. But American miners have never had a greater champion in the White House than President Donald Trump. And before I took office, federal mining permits took 3, 4, or even 5 years. Now they take as little as 25 days. So we went from 5 years for approvals to get them, and nobody was doing it anyway. Took too long and just wasn't working. So now we go from 5 years to 25 days for approval. Under the Great Big Beautiful Bill, we secured an unprecedented $100 billion to underwrite critical investments in our mineral supply. And for the first time ever, we are even making direct equity investments in critical mineral production. Last July, the Department of War took a $400 million stake in MP Materials, which is already worth nearly $1.2 billion. It's gone up greatly in value. I did one of those too, but not quite in the same business. Intel, we had a problem with Intel, and we settled the problem. They gave us 10% of the company. That was worth $12 billion. And since we had the company, you've probably been watching, the stock has gone up many, many times, just about number 1. And we made $82 billion. Do I get credit for that? No. Did anybody say, great job? And by the way, it's for the country. It's not for me. It's for the country. I have to be very plain about that. But no, we've made about 80, Howard, it's pretty close to 80 billion, a profit of $80 billion by helping the company out. We're doing it a lot, actually. We're doing it a lot. Today, we're taking another historic action toward the future of American mining. For years, mining schools and colleges that are essential to training the future leaders of this industry have been absolutely and sadly disappearing. Accredited mining programs in the United States now graduate less than 170 mining engineers each year, while China graduates more than 3,000, and half of our current mining workforce is set to retire within the next 3 years. Well, that's why my administration is making an unprecedented financial commitment to our nation's mining schools. It's going to keep us nice and young and vibrant. The schools came to us seeking $10 million per year in funding. Instead, I'm thrilled to announce that we're delivering $100 million to train the next generation of American miners. And you have a lot of you are in the room right now. And, you know, I'm not doing that because I'm a nice person. I'm doing that because it's great for the country. It's great for the country, and it also helps a lot of people. And they want to mine. You know, I've seen it, and we had a little campaign against somebody named Hillary Clinton, and she wanted the miners of West Virginia to learn how to make chips, little tiny chips with their big, strong hands. And they were not, I won by 55 points. They were not thrilled. They didn't want to be doing it. They wanted to be in the mines. That's what they want to do. They don't want to do anything else. I remember that. It was so unbelievable. It was very, very good for me. I tell you what, she didn't get that. We did very well with that kind of thinking. But we're also making major grants to the Colorado School of Mines, the South Dakota School of Mines, and the Johns Hopkins RTX partnership. And together those grants are worth $81 million. Going to train people, work with people, and we're going to put you right back on the front pages. That's what you have to be. In addition, today my administration is announcing a series of historic mining projects worth $3 billion, which will create thousands of jobs and promote our economic stability and security. The Department of War's Office of Strategic Capital is signing a massive $1.4 billion loan agreement with Sealand Nanotechnologies to build a next-generation battery facility in Washington State using what we have right under our feet. The Export-Import Bank is working to provide more than $1 billion to finance the Ivanhoe Electric's Santa Cruz Copper Project in Arizona, one of the biggest anywhere in the world. The Ex-Im Bank is launching the Alabama Graphite Project, a $25 million investment, as well as the Fort Cady Integrated Boron Facility in Southern California. And it's going to be something. We broke through the environmental disasters. You had environmental people, look, I'm an environmental person, believe it or not, but you had people that were just stopping it. They were using the environment to stop all of these things. The Department of War is investing $400 million to expand production of scandium, one of the world's most valuable aerospace and defense materials in Australia. The Department of War is also investing $150 million with Niron Magnetics in Minnesota. Minnesota? Wow. What the hell happened to Minnesota? The governor's totally corrupt, but we won't talk about that now. That's for another day. Corrupt and incompetent, a bad combination. To build rare earth magnets. Magnets, you got to go with magnets. That's a good one. Everybody should go for magnets. They're really badly needed. And Global Advanced Metals will build a major new factory in southeastern Pennsylvania to support cutting-edge defense and aerospace systems. Together, we're reawakening the spirit of the gold rush, the prospectors and the great pioneers of this country, people who built the United States of America. And very simply, we're making mining great again, and the United States is doing better than it's ever done, maybe ever done. So I just want to thank you, and I'll now ask Secretary Rubio to say a few words, and then we'll hear from some of the wonderful people we have up here. Secretary Burgum, in this order. Secretary Lutnick, Executive Director of the University of Arizona School of Mining and Engineering and Minerals. Cray Luxbacher, President of Colorado School of Mines. Paul Johnson, CEO of MP Materials. Jim Latinsky, who I know your brother. He's a nice guy, by the way. I assume it's your brother. Where is, right? That's right. Andy.
Yes.
Your brother?
Yes.
Okay, well, he's a smart guy, and so
Thank you.
And President of Resolution Copper, Vicky Pesci. So we'll go. I didn't know I was going to have so many people. I'll be here all day. If you could go quickly, I would appreciate it, because we have a war to prosecute, okay? That's my excuse for getting out of here a little bit early. But I've done my thing only in the sense that we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars and even billions of dollars in bringing your industry back. And we need your industry. We're not doing you favors, we're doing ourselves favors. We need your industry. People wouldn't talk about it, but we do indeed. Marco, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for coming to the State Department. We like this room a lot, too, and obviously, don't look back. There's a painting up here. Just, uh-oh.
That's a good one. I'm taking it with me.
I shouldn't have said anything. But anyway, Mr. President, thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership on this topic. It's a challenge we face in this domain that actually goes to the very survival of the country. And thank you for giving it a priority in your presidency. This has been going on for 25 years. We've been walking away from the importance of this, and now we're trying to make up for 25 or 30 years of mistakes under your presidency. So we appreciate your presidency valuing this when other presidents did not. The group of people that are here today represent the whole nation effort that's involved in this. It's because at the core of this is our industrial strength, but also our national sovereignty, that we never depend on other countries for things we need to prosper and to defend ourselves as a people. And so you'll see here today, as you've already pointed out, we have leaders not just from government, but from universities, from private industry, from students who are going to be the future of this industry. I wanted to very briefly touch on what the State Department's done. You know, earlier this year we had a critical minerals ministerial. We brought in countries from all over the world and announced the creation of something called FORGE, which is an international partnership chaired by us in the United States to leverage public finance and coordinate diplomatic support to secure these supply chains. around the world. At that meeting, we signed 11 new critical minerals agreements with countries adding to the ones that already existed. Today, under your administration, we've already signed 27 critical mineral agreements with other countries. We also, under the leadership of someone who needs to be recognized, our Undersecretary Jacob Hellberg. I don't know if Jacob is here, but Jacob's been phenomenal. He came up with something called Pax Silica, and it's an initiative that leads our efforts to partner with the private sector and invest in mining and refining and in processing, as well as the end-use applications of that. There's still a lot of work left to do, but we at the State Department are willing to utilize our unmatched global presence, our presence all over the world, to ensure that we're working on this, and we're committed to working with industry, with universities, with all the elements of our national power to bring this about. And so thank you, Mr. President, for prioritizing this, and I think we all look forward to working not just nationally, but with our allies around the world to ensure that we have supply chains that are diversified and reliable, and no country can ever hold this over our head and threaten us in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco, very much. Thank you. Doing a fantastic job, too. I will tell you that. Doug?
Well, sir, today is a day of gratitude, and we're grateful, first of all, to have a president that understands the importance of this industry and understand that our future depends on restoring American mining. And I'm also grateful that we've got students, educators, and industry leaders together in this room for the first time, we think, in the history that any president has called this group together. So again, thank you all for being here for this historic day. It's true the president has supported American mining more than any other president in history, and it's true that with the announcements made today, he's now supported mining education more than any other president in history, and we owe you a lot for that, Mr. President. We also, when you first took office, you declared an energy emergency, which included critical minerals as part of that. You created the National Energy Dominance Council. We've got some of those partners that are right here, and whether it's Marco with the 27 bilateral agreements, going to 51 countries, whether it's Howard with the trade deals and the investments that are being made, then the National Security Council, David Copley, and everybody working on supply chain, Jared Hagan and the NEDC doing all of this work. It's a whole of government approach. You understood that we had to turn the ship around. It took every agency, every working together, and your leadership has driven that. Across Interior, it's included the U.S. Geologic Survey. We've got Andrea Travnik here in the front row, who's the Assistant Secretary for Water and Science, which include that. But getting these things like Geologic Survey back to their core mission, which is mapping. The critical minerals list comes out of the U.S. Geologic Survey. We've expanded that to 60 critical minerals, and for the first time, we put coal back on that list because that's also such an important part of mining. And as you know, President Trump, everybody in your administration is slashing red tape, accelerating permitting, but permits don't build mines, people do. And that's why the investments that are made today related to reimagining the workforce and supporting these institutions are so great. America, it's estimated, graduates more than 30,000 lawyers every year, but you heard the president say less than 200 mining and metallurgical degree students. That has to change with a $100 million historic investment and the other investments announced today. The anticipation and the challenge to those 14 schools that are all here today is to double or triple the number of graduates in the next 2 years. And again, President Trump, even though that those are all amazing things, the most important thing that you've done is you've restored America's belief that we can do big, bold, hard things again. When you were campaigning, you talked about drill, baby, drill, and some people scoffed at that. But under that vision of energy abundance, America now, #1 oil producer, #1 natural gas producer, #1 LNG exporter, all of that in 18 months. This industry is poised to do the exactly same thing, to revive itself and become a world leader. And it's going to be powered by the next generation of American entrepreneurs, engineers, geologists, and skilled miners. And so, President Trump, this group is here. You've proven that we can drill, baby, drill. This group is here to prove that we can mine, baby, mine. And to supporting that, we're going to map, baby, map, and we're going to put American mining back on the map. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And it's something that we maybe should say. We do more oil right now than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined, and that's not including Venezuela. We're getting a lot of oil, and good relationship we have with them too, but a lot of oil. But we do, without even including Venezuela, we're doing more oil than Russia and Saudi Arabia combined. Isn't that something? That's a big difference. Howard, please.
So let's be clear, critical minerals are more than an economic issue. They're a national security issue. If we want to lead in advanced manufacturing, AI, semiconductors, energy, defense, we can't depend on our foreign adversaries for the materials that underpin our industries. We just can't. And that's why the president tasked us to rebuild the supply chain and make it a top priority of his administration and my department. So our objective is very simple. We're going to mine here, we're going to process here, we're going to refine here, we're going to manufacture here, and we're going to create those American jobs right here. So our Section 232 tariffs, right, where we strengthened our steel, our aluminum, and our copper industries. And let's just talk about what that's created. So I have Jesse Gary on my left. I went down to visit his aluminum smelter, and he's building the one in Oklahoma. Oh. Jesse's doing the one in Oklahoma, where he's going to double the aluminum production by the United States of America. So that's pretty amazing.
Great success.
Right, then of course we're doing steel in Alabama. I mean, these are the first types of smelters and furnaces that America's had in 40 or 50 years. And it's only because of your leadership and the 232 tariffs, which you've been driving. So the CHIPS program, right, we gave Korea Zinc $7.4 billion to build a critical minerals smelter right here in the United States. Vulcan Elements, $1.4 billion, also to build right here in the United States, right? Another, Robert is sitting next to me, we invested in iPulse, that's his high-tech mining company, to change the way mining is done. And so we have an investment with him. And the goal, of course, is not just more minerals. It's the full industrial supply chain on American soil. You have to remember, we lost critical minerals not because of free markets. It's because of foreign subsidies, market distortion, export restrictions, stockpiling. These adversaries have just cheated their way to market strength. And we are back and we're fighting it. So we're not going to accept dependence on foreign supplies. We're just not. That's why we're working across the world, as Marco pointed out, to expand our global allies and make sure we're doing it together. So we're going to secure reliable supply. We're going to strengthen our global partnerships, right? We're going to back American companies, and we're going to make sure the United States, not our adversaries, controls the supply chains of power and critical minerals for our country and our future. The bottom line, we need to control our supply chain, and under your leadership, we are executing on that, and it is coming. We will mine, we will process, we will refine right here in America under the Trump presidency.
Thank you, Howard, very much. And Cray, where's Cray?
I'm here, sir.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. President, first I want to thank you. This is a historic investment in American mining engineering schools, and we're really grateful. I also want to say thank you for what you've already done towards accelerating permitting for mining in the United States. It's really been unbelievable, and you've created pathways for industry. And now, in order to achieve American mineral dominance, we really need technology and talent. And your American mining schools are ready to get to work, so thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you so much for your leadership. I think the message of the day is we need to mine, refine, and make things in America. And I'm pleased to report to you, actually, because this has been a call to action from you for a long time to make magnets. I'm pleased to show you, actually, these are magnets that we made at MP for GM. Good. These magnets were mined and refined in the state of California and made in the state of Texas, 100% American made. And thanks to your leadership, we are scaling up that facility. We're going to triple the capacity, so we're delivering magnets to GM today. Next year, we'll be delivering magnetics to Apple. And then from there, we're going to 10x our capacity as a result of our public-private partnership together. We're going to increase capacity for American industry, which, as you mentioned earlier, is going to be the American taxpayer has already benefited. It'll be great for national security. It's really a win-win-win, sir. And lastly, that facility is going to be north of $1 billion of investment and a couple thousand jobs. So we really are making a lot of progress thanks to your leadership. So I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Jim. Great job. That's so important, what you're doing. Very, very important. Those are the ones I'd be looking at if I were in your world. And thank you.
Thank you.
Is Paul Johnson right here? Right?
Yes, Mr. President, I'm here. Mr. President, I'm Paul Johnson, President of Colorado School of Mines. We are the #1 ranked program in the world. We're the largest program in the United States. And we are very, very excited about the investments that you're making. It's pretty hard to go anywhere in the world and not run across somebody with a mines connection. Secretary Burgum's experts in critical materials, over 200 of them will be moving to the mines campus in about 6 months, so we'll be looking forward to welcoming you there for that particular ceremony. I wanted to thank you for two things. One is thank you for the investment in the mining schools. Our expertise has atrophied over time, particularly in the processing space, and this investment is going to make a big difference. Second thing is, while the majority of, I think, programs have sort of shrunk over time, we've actually grown over the last 2 years. And I want to thank you because I attribute that growth to you and your administration's highlighting of critical minerals in the press and the amazing team that you have working through Interior and Energy, other folks. It has really, I think, made families feel like this is a field that their children can go into. And I think that's the start of getting things due there. The other thing I want to thank you for is the investment you just announced in mines in our commercialization hub. I've always had this dream of having a facility, and we have a 50,000 square foot facility that could be dedicated to technology, taking it from ideas to pilot scale to commercialization in a very quick period of time. And your investment in us in doing that is going to enable us to be able to do that. We're up for the challenge. We're really excited for it. We were doing the happy dance a little earlier when we found out, when we heard your announcement, and really look forward to doing what we can for the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. Victoria?
Mr. President, you have brought mining back to America, single-handedly, you and your administration, and we wanted to thank you for your enduring support. I run Resolution Copper, which is one of the largest undeveloped copper deposits in the world. It is in a forgotten part of Arizona called the Copper Corridor, and it is, we've already invested $3 billion, so they were ready to go, but we started permitting in 2005. And if it were not for your administration, we finally got it over the line in this year, earlier this year. So we have 4,000 people that will work at our facility, 4,000 miners. We hope to work closely with the mining schools and hire many of the students that will be graduating. $1 billion every year for 60 years invested into the economy. And we also have a smelter. And I think that's the thing that makes it very unique. We can keep everything in the United States and a host of critical mineral co-products as well. Right. So thank you again on behalf of Rio Tinto, BHP, and the hundreds of underground miners who are absolutely fabulous that run the mine today. Thank you very much. We are rolling in drill rigs, we are rolling in equipment, and we're getting on with it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Great. I don't think you're going to need too much luck. Tom and David, go ahead, please.
Mr. President, I'm a very, very proud former alumni of the University of Alaska Fairbanks School of Mines. So on behalf of all the faculty here, the students here, I am thrilled with all of your announcements today. I mean, we've all been frustrated over decades. You're making something happen. I really appreciate that. My first mining job was in Alaska, staking the claims near the Ambler District. And we were in a rush then. This was 1975, 1976. And it's still not permits. Thank you for breaking that logjam. I have present to you a gift to the American people on a project that I've been very involved with. It's deep sea nodules. Like you, I'm a fan of gold, and this is a solid gold replica of a deep sea nodule. Now, I wish the nodules down the deep sea had a lot of gold in them that be more attractive, but they do contain 20 critical metals. And these are 20 critical metals that are going to be needed for the reindustrialization of America. They're going to be needed for defense purposes. They're going to be needed for all the technologies that we are relying on, and every single citizen in the United States take for granted. That should be a key part of the supply chain, and that's what mining can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Where's the gold? Come on, bring it up.
Pass it down.
I want the gold. He just said, let me see what it looks like. It should be very heavy. It's the heaviest.
The gold is more fun.
Let me see. It is. It's heavy.
It's real.
That's fantastic. Oh, I like that too, huh? This is so valuable. I don't know, do you have a lot of competition, I hope? Because people have to go after. This is so, people have no idea how valuable that is. Thank you very much, fellas. It's really beautiful. Please, David.
And as somebody who joined the Trump administration from the mining industry, I just want to say that absolutely nobody supports our industry more than President Trump. So for decades, we've felt ignored by Washington, and we've seen our industry outsourced to our geopolitical competitors. So I'm so grateful to work for you, because you get it and you understand that this industry is foundational to our economic and national security. So thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership on these issues. And I know from all of us here in industry that we are committed to building the world's best mining sector here in the United States and reestablishing American mineral dominance. Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you very much, my friend.
Well, the mining industry has no greater friend than President Trump. He's obviously, everybody knows he's the greatest deal maker in the world, but what he's doing here today is bigger than any deal or one deal or two deals. This is generational. He is focusing on the next generation of miners. That is something that has never been done before by a president of the United States. He is single-handedly today going to change the entire next generation of mining in America, and he is making America the center of energy dominance for the world. So thank you, Mr. President.
Well, thank you very much. Great. Would you like to say anything, fellas? Good-looking guys here.
Mr. President, this is a truly historic occasion to bring America back to the leadership of mining, which built this building and which built this country. We've been sleepwalking through many administrations, and this is a revolution that will just electrify the millions of people in the United States that understand that everything you touch, we either mined it or we grew it agriculturally. And the people that are the farmers really need everything the miners produce to help them farm. So this is critical to our national security. We're elated with your support, and we're going to use Yankee ingenuity to prove that we can dominate the supply chain again, rather than have that used by other nations against us. Thank you for that.
You know, you used the word sleepwalking. That's what our country was doing with respect to mining, and many other things too, by the way, but sleepwalking, it's a great word. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. This is so exciting to see this attention. You know, I'll just say thank you for your attention to this matter, as you like to end your posts. It's awesome, and we're here and we're ready to go, so thank you.
Well, I just want to thank you very much. This is an honor for me to be here. I love what you do. Doug made a terrible mistake before when he said coal. I said, you have to always precede it by saying, clean, beautiful coal. He made a speech once, and it was a great speech, but he took me very much, you know, at the word. He said, clean, beautiful coal. He mentioned coal about 40 times, and he kept saying, clean, beautiful coal. I said, okay, that's enough, that's enough. But it needs a little public relations help, but it doesn't need so much anymore. We're producing more coal now than just about ever before. It's firing up our great plants, and certain types of plant. There's, you know, nothing like it. And we were out of that business. If you would have seen the people suffer, and some of you were those people. I believe some of you were the people, but this great big coal deposits, and you couldn't touch them. If you touched them, you were like a bad person. They put you in jail. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And you know, China's smart, and they're using coal. They're building 58 coal plants right now, generating plants, all coal. They don't have too much wind. You know, they sell us wind turbines, but they don't use too many of them, so it's because they're smart. They sell them, but they don't use them. They have one that's pretty big. Doesn't work. It just is for purposes of show. When they go to look at a turbine, they go and show them, and here we are, but they never work. So it's crazy. But clean, beautiful coal is something special. It's all very special, and we're back in the mining business, and I'm very proud of the country. I'm very proud of what you do. You really do. I said before walking in, these are the people that really built America, and you were not treated properly, but we're making up for lost time. You're being treated very properly right now. So I just want to thank everybody. Great honor to be with you. Thank you. Congratulations.
right then. So President Trump has brought everybody out to talk about what he's going to be doing about coal. Big, beautiful coal, clean coal, as he said, which is especially going to work for, as he mentioned, national security. And it's also going to help the economy on a number of different fronts. Obviously, more jobs. Also, as we're moving towards the fall, it's going to help with heating, all kinds of different things. So I applaud this, as long as they can do it without it being dirty, which it seems like they've got that down pat. I'm all for it. I'm all for anything that helps us on a national security basis. I'm all for anything that helps us on an economical basis. Let's just go ahead and make it happen. All right, so I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to come back and start off the show.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
New kinds of jobs appeared. App-based gig work. Dog walkers, TaskRabbit, DoorDash, and most common, Uber and Lyft drivers. Gig work is paid by the job, and some say not paid enough.
I'm just basically working part-time to pay my bills and survive.
Leftist media say gig workers are exploited.
We're paid as little as $2 a job.
So activists demand politicians do something.
We have a well-crafted solution.
Seattle politicians' well-crafted solution was to guarantee delivery drivers a $26 minimum wage.
You get the dignity, you get the benefits of what's coming to you.
What could go wrong? After all, companies like Uber and DoorDash make so much money, they can eat the cost without raising prices.
Annual revenues of billions of dollars a year, so I wouldn't assume that prices are going to go up.
But they did.
Getting whipped with new charges on food delivery apps.
Oops.
It was 3 items of, Thai takeout food for $122.
I just deleted the app.
Obviously, when you're increasing cost to businesses, you're going to increase cost to customers. These are very, almost unimaginably complicated markets where the company's main job is actually interfacing between restaurants and delivery workers and customers. And then you have, frankly, usually an economically illiterate city council or mayor who comes in and thinks basically by looking at an industry through reading the daily news, they can appropriately regulate the exact wage.
We want an economy in our city that works for everybody.
2 years later, the data is in, and drivers did not benefit. Why? Supply and demand. To pay drivers more, apps raise prices, so customers order less. DoorDash says it got 1.7 million fewer orders.
Why do you think it's slow in Seattle right now? Well, it's becoming slow because of the new law.
Business has plummeted because of Seattle's new food delivery ordinance.
That's what happens when politicians micromanage.
We have a system in America that decides fairness by what the market will bear.
But the politicians don't get it. They say, we can fix it, we just have to tinker with it.
The market is actually deciding what someone's job is worth.
Seattle's then city council president realized they'd made a mistake.
I believe that we created a problem and it's our responsibility to fix it.
Good. So they repealed their harmful law? No. She said, we just have to tinker with the numbers.
If we had gotten the minimum pay standard right, we would not see the decline in the revenue.
Give me a break. The conceit of politicians.
Yep, that's it. I appreciate it.
Free enterprise requires businesses to constantly adjust pay and prices to attract both workers and customers. Its Seattle politicians confidently say the price we pick is the right one.
When you think about it, it's actually just patently absurd on its face.
Dumb as these rules are, the regulators have the power, and they can force this.
You're not going to have any improved well-being for people, and you're not going to have increased wages for those workers.
The same thing happened in New York City.
App-based food delivery workers are getting $19.56 an hour. But with the bump in pay came a reduction in tips.
The decrease in tips and increased competition for jobs offset all of the gains, basically, from that imposed minimum wage.
That upsets New York's new mayor.
Make no mistake, we will have those workers' backs each and every time.
It's this continual whack-a-mole tendency where, yes, the market responds. We need a new regulation to try to prevent that response. They think that the next regulation is somehow going to squelch the greed out of the system, but there's simply no way to do that.
Right. Competition's the only good way to handle that. We asked my mayor and Seattle City Council members, how do you know better than the push and pull of the market? They didn't respond.
A lot of politicians want to believe there's a free lunch or just a fixed pot of money that they can give out to the neediest people in America. The actual effect was not to improve the well-being of any workers, but it was to increase costs for customers and to sabotage one of the most successful businesses in the city.
One that pays people for something they like to do.
We got one more last pickup in Margaritaville. Let's go pick up that order. We're live here in New York City. Look at that.
All right, everybody, time for an economics lesson. Won't be a long one. Hopefully that did most of the heavy lifting for me. You see, there's this big argument going on right now in the social media sphere about how, the boomers closed the door behind us and nobody can buy burritos and everything's too expensive and it just sucks to be alive right now. And they're making all of these statements without ever looking at what the problem is. The problem is everybody wanted a living wage. And I remember telling people, what the hell is a living wage? The market will determine what your value is. You want to make more money? You need to make more money for somebody else. The market will always dictate the reality of the economic situation in this country. It's not going to change. I am not hiring you to do a job just because you want me to pay you. Right now, we're looking at doing some expansion here, and I'm looking at hiring a full-time editor. And the market rate says X. What I'm willing to pay has to be X as well. And actually, in an editing market, to get somebody really good, you have to pay X plus plus, because anybody worth their salt is already working. They're already generating more revenue. Whether you look on Indeed or Upwork or any of these things, the people who are really, really good command more money. Imagine that. Imagine having marketable skills that allow you to, buy more burritos. But for some reason, everybody leaves that fact out when they're whining and crying and everything else. And I don't want anybody to tell me that I don't have the empathy, that I don't have the feeling for the people who are hurting. What I do have is the ability to generate revenue on my own that I had to learn through various different endeavors, whether it's going to work for somebody else or working for myself and saying, I could do that. You work for somebody. I'm like, yeah, I think I could, hang sheetrock. No, I couldn't. But maybe you're that person. I'm going to open up a hang sheetrock company. I'm going to open up a popcorn shaving company. I even saw years ago when I posted a picture on Instagram, I should have had it. There was somebody, a car in front of me as I was waiting for the drawbridge to come down. And it was a company that goes around and picks up dog poop off your lawn. And I'm like, I don't know what it was called, poop a scoop or whatever, but across the back of their bumper, they're like, we will pick up the dog poop in your yard. And I'm like, what a country. What a freaking country that somebody is willing to go pick up literal shit and people are going to pay you to pick up literal shit. Tell me what other country in the world allows you to generate as much money as you want to make for picking up poop. And I know some of you guys like, I would never call that. That's not the question. The question is, there's a market for it. There are people who are like, I don't want to go pick up this dog poop. Somebody, hey, can you come pick up the dog poop in my yard? Sure, I'll be right there. Or more importantly, nope, can't get there till Thursday. Why not? We're booked. Then you know you got something. Robin and our little foo-foo dogs, Midas the Chihuahua and Lily the Maltese, they get to go to the beauty salon in the driveway. Don't have to take them to the salon, the doggy pet place. Now Robin has a mobile groomer. Imagine that. Somebody who has outfitted a truck, who probably used to work for a groomer and said, you know what? I can hustle. I know how to clip the nails. I know how to wash the dogs. I know how to do all this stuff to make them smell pretty and put a nice bow on their head and charge the person $250. And now they have a van or two or three, and all they do is drive around and they take advantage of the demand in the market. You may not have ever seen it, but there is a market for it. Who would have ever thought that you would go on an app and tell somebody, bring me food? Years ago, when Robin and I first got married, I had that idea. And people laughed at me. There was a company that was growing, and the name of the company way back then, I'm like 1997 or so, was called Takeout Taxi. Exact same business model. Go ahead and get the restaurants to interface with you. You interface with the company. Go pick up the food from the Chinese restaurant and take it to Fred down the block. And I told Robin then, you can ask her, I told her that day, this is going to make it. This makes a lot of sense because most restaurants don't have delivery. Every Chinese restaurant probably has it. Every sub place and pizza place, Domino's. But what about if today I want to have a club sandwich from a deli? They didn't have drive a Uber type thing, takeout taxi. And so I was sitting with Rob, I'm like, this could work. But it was in Connecticut. And the regulatory stuff back then was like, you got to be kidding me. Well, you got to make sure you have this insurance, you got to have this license, and then you got to give a deposit, a bond, and it ain't going to work here. And then, of course, Travis decided he's going to open up Uber, and he made $1 billion. And then, of course, you guys know about Airbnb and Vrbo and everything else where the gig economy began taking over, where people didn't have to work for a predefined amount of money. Living wage, you know what a living wage is? When you get out there and make as much money and nobody can tell you you can't make any more. You want to drive an Uber? Pick up 60 fares in 2 days. Nobody puts a cap on it. I don't know if any of you have ever driven an Uber. I did. I didn't have the money and said, you know what? I'm going to drive Uber. And back then, it was pretty profitable until gas got more expensive. Then you had, the best place to go is go down to the airport and wait till somebody calls you at the airport. Boom, take them out. But you make money. And now we're watching these people on social media who are talking about the fact that, the burrito's too expensive. What did you think was going to happen when the Democrats in all these blue cities started determining that what were they screaming at the top of their lungs? I know, I posted about it earlier. Did people who were screaming for higher minimum wages, you heard it. You've heard it, living wage. We got to pay these people more money. Okay. Advocating to not prosecute shoplifters. Somebody walks into a Walgreens or CVS and steals up to $900. You can't prosecute them. They need that loaf of bread, as AOC said. Don't worry about it. We should be going after them. Oh, they stole your car? That's too bad. That's material things. And nobody was charting where this was going. I did. Then the next thing is you want to constantly raise taxes over and over and over. The fair share argument. We want to tax the hell out of you. What does that equation come up to? What that equation comes up to is higher prices. And I'm not even talking about the number of, newcomers who were stuck in there, were working for cheap. Did these people really think you could allow people to steal from a business, impute minimum wages on a business, and tax a business without the business saying, well, the only way we're going to make money here is to raise our prices? That's it. That's how business works. Otherwise, it would be called an NGO or a charity. It is a cold slap in the face for all these millennials and Gen X and Z, whatever they are, when they're finally waking up now and realizing everything they fought for over the last couple of years has determined that they pay $20 for a frickin' burrito. You're welcome. You asked for it. You pleaded for it. You protested for it. Now you got it. And they don't understand it is by their own hands that they're paying $20 for a burrito. And now they're like, let's reverse it. Well, ask your Democrat comrades to roll back the minimum wage. Well, that's not fair. It's not fair to pay $20 for a burrito. Why don't you ask them to roll back the taxes? Oh, no, we got to spend that money. How about we start arresting shoplifters at $1? Oh, no, the poor peoples need to steal. Well, then what do you expect? Which one do you expect is going to break? Because the business is only there, in case we don't know economics, the business is only there to do what? To make a profit. And you cannot determine the profit. As much as you scream about the greedy business and all the different things that the Democrats and commies want to say, and some Republicans, you can't stop business. I guess you can if you want to be communist. But when you're talking about the cost of things, maybe some people should look into why things cost what they do. The whole other argument they keep making is that, when your father was around, he was able probably to buy a house for like $40,000 and, he could buy a Mustang for $2,500. Well, guess what he was paying in taxes back then? Guess what the wages were back then? How do you think Ford was able to make a Mustang, a brand new car, for $2,500 or $3,000? Because people weren't getting paid $60 an hour to go in the assembly line. Because there wasn't a forced, thing that they had to do. And so they could pass along savings to the consumers. Well, what the CEO doesn't need to make $1 million or $5 or $10 million. That CEO makes the decision on the entirety of an intertransactional national business. If you haven't walked a mile in that person's shoes, you shouldn't really be judging him by that, because you don't know what has to be done. You think it's easy? You think it's easy looking at spreadsheets and having people report to you and understand what levers you need to pull? You understand the skill that needs to happen? Here's a quick example. There was a CEO recently who went into a wildly successful restaurant chain, making money, very profitable, and said, you know what? Let's pull the old logo down and completely change it. And then let's go into all the restaurants and take away that country feel and turn them into, I don't know, steak and shakes. She's looking for a job right now, and I'm talking about Cracker Barrel. People are like, wait, no, no, that ain't gonna work. She got paid a lot of money to make those decisions. She completely failed. How about the, I don't know, marketing director who hired Dylan Mulvaney? Oh, you don't think his job was worth a couple million a year? Because as soon as he screwed that up, she had to go. You cost us billions. And so that's why these people get paid so much, because when it comes time to roll out a marketing program, your ass is on the line. You think this is going to work? Yeah, I think this is what we need to do. Okay. You think the person who remember a diet candy? Maybe you guys are old enough to remember. Remember a diet candy called AIDS? If you're too young to remember, go ahead and Google AIDS candy. Can you imagine the corporate meeting in the early 80s when somebody said, we got to change our name? I don't even know if they changed their name or they just went out of business. Because when AIDS disease came, you didn't want to be selling AIDS candy. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember that. How about, I don't know, New Coke? Oh, I bet you that person took a surfboard right out the front door. He was probably making millions. Get out. Get out. How about the Target marketing director who sold onesies for transies and stuff? Oh, big mistake. You see, the decisions corporate people have to make impact billions. And so people leverage that intelligence, that experience, because if you could know what you're going to do, you're going to make the entire company money. Oh, by the way, you remember that thing that Trump keeps talking about almost every single day that keeps breaking records, that thing called the stock market? Well, most people don't, they're not part of the stock market. Every single person in America is a part of the stock market. If you don't realize that, then you're not playing at home. You don't have the Jeopardy home game. And so I don't feel bad for the people who are complaining about burritos. I don't think they're being honest. Matter of fact, I know they're not being honest. What I feel bad for are the people who are getting sucked into it, because some people know there's a lot of people talking about this stuff and we can sell clicks and likes right now by appeasing them. Oh, you're right. It sucks right now. The big bad corporations and everybody else, and you're not making any money and the burritos are too expensive. You been in a Chipotle lately? Business is business. It has to be the way it is, unless you want to roll back the taxes, which, by the way, there are people who didn't like Trump who are loving the fact they aren't paying taxes on tips. What do you think the Democrats are going to do? You think it's hard to buy a $20 burrito right now? What do you think is going to happen if they get in office and roll that back? Then you're really going to have a hard time affording a burrito. They're going to make you, nope, take those taxes away. I mean, we're going to put those taxes back on your tips. We're going to put those taxes back on your overtime. Think it's hard to buy a house now? Which it really isn't. I won't go into the real estate aspect of things, but none of it is hard. None of it is hard. I want you, if you'd like to do an experiment one day, is scroll through any of these people who are complaining about how hard it is, how they can't buy a house, they can't afford rent, they can't afford the burrito, and look if any of them says, I wish somebody could show me how I could afford a $20 burrito. I challenge you right now. Every single one of you watching, go look and see if anybody says that. I wish somebody, I hope I run into somebody that shows me how I can afford a $20 burrito. See, it's easy to whine. It's harder to supplicate yourself and say, I don't know how to make enough money to buy a $20 burrito. when prices at Chipotle are agnostic to me, right? Where you're in a position where you don't care if they charge $20 for a burrito. Not that I eat Chipotle, but imagine not caring. I'm going to play something for you that I posted earlier today, and my buttons were busting. I had, Ashley probably could get mad at me for posting this, but I had to put this out there to the world. One, because my buttons were busting and I was so proud. And number two, because hopefully somebody somewhere will see it and go, oh, it can happen. Listen to this. Oh boy, do I have a story to tell you. I just found out about this young girl. She started not one, not two, but 3 businesses. She's at the point now where she's expanding and hiring 2 employees. She has a dog sitting business. She has a dog walking business, and she also mows grass in the neighborhood. She started her own business where everybody says they can't find a way to make any money. Last week, she cleared $500. $500 might not sound a lot to you guys, but when I tell you this young woman is my granddaughter, and she's 13 years old. 13 years old, 3 businesses, cleared $500 last week, and now she's going to be hiring her older brother and her younger sister to help out. I thought you couldn't make any money in this economy. I thought there was no way you could achieve to enjoy entrepreneurialism in this country, that capitalism sucks. My 13-year-old granddaughter made $500 last week. Tell me why these people in the age of Burrito Gate are all complaining when a 13-year-old little girl can start 3 businesses and clear $500 last week. And no, I didn't put my thumb on the scale. There was no outside investment. Grandpa didn't give her a whole bunch of money to get started. Nope, that didn't happen. She looked around, she figured out what she could do, wanted to go for it, and started 3 businesses. So tell me why you can't afford burritos. I'd love to know why you can't afford a burrito. Tell me how a 13-year-old little girl is out there kicking your ass. I'd love to hear this. And I swear that is not a made-up story. Ashley texted me yesterday. I'm like, she did what? and understand, this isn't her first foray. Even at 13, Ashley said she wanted to do nails, and she was learning how to do nails and stuff. And she just has a drive to keep doing something. And so now at 13, when I say 13, she just turned 13. On her 13th birthday now, she is opening businesses like she's like Howard Hughes. Just, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm like, I need to hire people. And I'm like, wait a second, are you seeing what's going on Twitter? You understand that, people say it's too hard. You can't, there's nothing you could do. Now I understand she has no overhead. She doesn't have to pay rent. She doesn't have to buy food and groceries. I understand. But could you make 500 or more this week by just doing something and getting off your duff and realizing, wow, a 13-year-old girl's doing that? Man, just like that. Yeah, just like that. Because she didn't know she couldn't. So that's one of the things that these people on X, they think there's all kinds of roadblocks. So they put those roadblocks up in front of themselves. Nobody told her you couldn't do it. Imagine at a very embryonic age where you're just starting to learn stuff and you realize this school stuff kind of sucks. I see my mom doing all kinds of stuff and she's doing great. I see my grandfather doing all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, well, if I don't want to have to go through the next 12 years of going to school and hopefully getting something at the end, maybe if I start something now and go to school at the same time, I can keep going. And she is. And I wanted to share that with you guys today because it's real life. I don't care that a burrito costs 20 bucks. I care about how people aren't finding ways to afford the $20 burrito. It still may be expensive. I wouldn't pay 20 bucks for a burrito. It ain't ever going to happen. But I could if I wanted to. And I think that's where the difference is and how this appeal happens. Where I like to talk to people is, I'm not saying you should ever pay $20 for a burrito, but I think it should be your decision whether or not you pay $20 for a burrito. If you love burritos that much, you're like, here's 20 bucks plus a tip. Oh, this burrito is fantastic. Game on. But nobody should be able to tell you you can't buy one, because then it's on you. If you accept that, if you accept people telling you you can't do something, you can't blame them. Not at all. I wish prosperity and success on everybody, and I know it's out there. And so that first video from John Stossel when he was talking about the, what do you call it? The gig economy. If you don't know what the gig economy is, oh, by the way, hold on. There's our president heading up the stairs into Air Force One. I thought he might take some questions, so I had it waiting just in case. But nope, he didn't take any questions as he's heading to New Jersey. That can't be much of a flight. That's probably like a 35-minute flight from Washington, D.C. to Bedminster up by that area. But anyway, that was the president getting ready to take off to go to Bedminster. So I don't want to belabor the point. I just wanted to bring those two bits of stories to you. One, if you're interested in trying to increase your income, look at the gig economy. Notice in that part where you can rewind it, where John Stossel was talking and the lady was complaining, I only made like $3, whatever she was doing. She's lying. She's absolutely lying. She probably found it was too hard to ride the bike and carry the groceries or carry the meals or everything else. And so she only did one route. The whole idea is value. How many routes am I going to run? How many deliveries am I going to have? And there's so many places. You got Uber, you got Lyft, you've got Instacart. I mean, there's so many things you can do. I've told you a story about the lady who drives Instacart shows up in an Escalade. I'm like, damn, she's killing it. Absolutely killing it. You think she's worried about a $20 burrito? Nope, not at all. For some reason, we've taken the initiative out of people, where people just think, give me. And so I don't find it bad. I find it bad when people are making fun of these people. I wouldn't make fun of them. I would just say, don't you want to know how to make more? Don't you want to know how you can bust out of this and not have to worry? You don't have to worry about a $20 burrito or your $1,000 cell phone. But in any event, so proud of my granddaughter, and I just wanted to pass that along to you guys on a Friday as we're talking about socialism and communism. It's insane. Let me see if SV's got anything. Hey, brother.
Hey, what's up? Happy Friday, man. Congrats on your
Friday.
Granddaughter. That's freaking awesome, that story.
Man,
I mean,
I was blown away. When Ashley told me, I'm like, what? I felt like,
congrats, Ashley.
I said, did she get a sugar daddy or something? Like, no, and she goes, she's out mowing lawns right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, she's kicking butt. And it's funny because, like I said, as long as people don't tell you can't do something, you just keep doing it. And so, of course, the other kids were like, where are you getting all this money from?
Oh. Well, I always said my little mantra, Barry, is there's no can't in can.
No.
Think about it.
No. No. You can't.
Absolutely. I got a couple stories, a couple varied topics.
Okay.
Let me choose 3 cuts. They're all relevant.
Right. Number one on the I love the Enos Cantor one. That's going to be a good one. All right, here we go. This one is from the I can't. How do they even do this? I'll let okay, so set it up because people have got to hear this video. I'm going to have to download it and show it because this is just insane.
University of Michigan just went full Oprah. They went full participation trophy. They said incoming students will no longer get real grades. It's just pass or no credit. There you go. It's in the name of mental health, of course.
Isn't this what we've been talking about? That the coddling of these universities and what they're doing is harming these people. They're telling you not to be competitive. We're not going to show your grades because it might hurt your fees. Oh my God! Here we go.
It's supposed to be a place where you adult, right?
And compete. Understanding there's going to be people better than you. It's supposed to prepare you for real life, right?
And if you can't become an engineer, then basket weaving may be good for you. I mean, not everybody's going to do it.
Here we go.
We get
All right.
pass or no credit on their report cards instead, all in the name of mental health. Let's bring in Fox News Saturday night host Jimmy Faleb. Wait a second.
Yeah.
I think about the blood, the sweat, the tears of my freshman year.
Same. You're going to laugh. My freshman year, I got a 4.0 my freshman year. Now, granted, that was my blood.
Wow, Jimmy.
It was my blood alcohol content. To be clear, I got a 4.0 the freshman year, a 3.87 the second year. But the point is, I got that 4.0 while applying myself in school because when I went to college, it wasn't a expensive daycare. Like, they really are infantilizing these kids because what's happening is it's like, all right, we're going to do this protective thing. We don't want to stress you out with a grade. But you know who's not going to do that? The job market.
Exactly.
Where you're competing against people in the age of globalism from around the world. So if you're not going as hard as them, you know what I mean? There are countries where if the kid gets a 99, the parents jump off a bridge in embarrassment. Like, our parents only do that if you grow up to be like a Met fan, but that's a different story.
First of all, University of Michigan is like one of the new Ivies, right? I mean, this is an incredibly competitive school. So you already are a really good student, you have to assume, to be getting in. But then so if you get like a D in the teacher's mind, you still get the passing grade.
Yeah.
And you look like the kid who got the A.
That's the point. And they're turning every kid into that group project participant who does nothing but gets to take the credit because there's no distinction between your effort and mine. The only thing that gives me hope is I'm a big football fan. My wife's an Ohio State girl. Obviously, I'm more inclined to root for whoever covers the spread. Michigan's going to be a soft school. They're going to be a soft school. If we're worried about mental anxiety in school, this is going to be a soft football team. You heard it
just
here
gave me like the horrible memories of like middle school and high school. I was always the one.
Man, they're worried about not affording a $20 burrito, but they're not worrying about paying $60,000 or $50,000 a year to go to a university that treats you like you're in kindercare. We can't show their failing grades. Why not? And the other thing is, if they're that sucky as students, if they're that bad, why the hell are they still in the school?
Exactly.
I mean, shouldn't you flunk out? Or is it, you're getting those government student loans. We'll keep you in here. We just won't tell anybody what your grades are as long as we keep getting the paychecks. So they're telling you right now that the DEI is so bad, these kids can't get decent grades, and then they want to go hang themselves off a bridge somewhere. So their mental health. I'm like, wow, that's why you can't afford $20 burritos. That's it right there.
And they're all winding up in the streets protesting at the the streets in New York City and everything. Barry, when I was in college, my last year, I took 20 credits. Wow. I was a math major with computer background. But I mean, I also was working from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. at UPS. I did that for 2 years. That's probably why I don't sleep anymore. I'm always up all night. But yeah, I mean, I busted my butt. I realized nobody was going to give it to me. I had to earn it.
Not at all. I mean, it's funny. You bet you don't get any sleep. I'm just the opposite. I sleep on a dime, and Robin's always asked me, how can you sleep that quickly? I'm like, I was in a fraternity house with 20 guys, and you learn very quickly, okay, I got to get some sleep. You'd find someplace where you could go to sleep because otherwise the crazy stuff was going on. All right, so this one.
The next story, you're going to love this. The next story, I'm like... about the WNBA. Have you read this? Have you seen it?
I saw his video where. When we go to break, see if you can. His video is everywhere. Does it have music in it or anything? Or
I don't know. It's a 10-6. Let me see here.
No, his actual video where he comes out.
I'll check on break.
Well, okay, here, do this while you're reading it. I'll see if I can't find his actual video. Okay, hold on.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, you all know the WNBA has had a lot of excitement going on lately with Sophie Cunningham and all that. Like, they can't define what a woman is. Well, the former NBA player Ines Kanter Freedom files to participate in the WNBA draft next year, and he's going to play in the league against women because the league refuses to define women.
Sorry, I was trying to find a video and I forgot it's tied to the same thing.
That's all right. I mean, I could read mine. I have it on my screen.
Okay.
He would instantly be the most dominant player. His height is 6'10", and he weighs 250 pounds. The WNBA would have to define woman under the biological definition to block Ennis Freedom from playing and effectively abolish their inclusion policies. This is a masterclass move. This is what we need to do. We need to start bringing in, real guys to kick some butt, and then maybe they'll change your tune, right? This is crazy. Look at the size of that guy.
Oh, he's a monster here.
He's going to knock over some of those ladies, and
His video has some music at the beginning, but it's only like 1 or 2 seconds, so maybe I can get away with it. Here, check this out.
Check it out.
After careful consideration and reviewing the current eligibility guidelines, I am officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply declaring who you are is all that's required, then I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA. My team and I have carefully examined the WNBA's eligibility criteria and governing framework surrounding self-identification and inclusion. Based on the current guidelines, I can and am officially declaring my eligibility for the upcoming WNBA draft in May 2027. I am definitely not here to mock, make fun of, or disrespect any community or personal choices. I am simply asking that the current rules be applied equally to everyone. The rules that represent the very values many WNBA players and coaches have publicly advocated for. My team and I are prepared to ensure these guidelines are applied equally, consistently, and without exception. And I look forward to the WNBA honoring its stated principles. See you at training camp.
Swish!
I'm pretty sure what they call that is checkmate. I mean, what do you do at this point? So here's
going to
where
tell them no.
Well, here's where it's going to get really hairy, because now, of course, none of the team owners and coaches are going to want to put this guy on his team, so they are immediately going to collude to keep him off a roster, which is going to open them up to a huge lawsuit. But if they put him on a roster, he's going to destroy the entire league and expose them as being complete BS artists. So now he literally has just put them in check. I expect to be in training camp next year. I am going to be the best person available in the draft. There is not a single person that you could even think of drafting ahead of me. Welcome to the WNBA. And I don't know at this point how they get away with it. I mean,
there is one guy that can match him. Who was that guy you showed with the muscles? Yeah. Show that picture. You have it?
I don't have it, but yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's probably the only one that can compete with him.
They will quickly have to accept the fact that they are a women's only league, not trans. Because how do you determine, or what's the definition of a trans? Because it doesn't, we have found out now that it doesn't necessarily mean you have no junk. It is truly identifying as such. So if you say, I identify as a woman, you are now trans. You might be a really ugly woman, but there's no criteria that says you can't be a big 6'10" ugly woman. You're a woman. I'm a woman. Pay me. I'm going to play ball. So they're now boxed into a corner, a complete corner. And I hope he takes it all the way. I hope if they try to collude, he sues them. And watch them change the rules quickly. They're going to have to go in and rewrite the rules. But I don't know if you can rewrite the rules, because then you might have to kick a bunch of the players who are already in the league out. See, that's the one thing people aren't realizing. There may be some of them already in there. They just aren't disclosing.
Well, as Severno always says, I love it. He says, if you have an apple, you got a banana. Thanks, Saverna.
Oh my God. All right. So what's
Okay.
this one? What's this
Next
one
one's
here?
a little more sobering here. So yeah, this just came out a few minutes ago. So the video is like a minute long. If you want to download it, can you download it when I read
I already got it ready. All right,
Oh,
here we
okay.
go.
Well,
What does this moment mean for you all?
We all are the trailblazers, so let us know how it's done.
When Ilhan and I first got elected, there were some folks saying, we want more Muslims to get elected, so maybe, don't tone it down. I know, I was trying to be nice. And she made a note, like, since we've gotten elected since 2019, 200 Muslims have been elected across the country. Wow. So we think about that for one moment. Is this the incredible movement? I know we were just part of it. We weren't the reason, but I think it's given a lot of people strength to be unapologetically themselves and really lean in who they are and not shy away from that. Growing up, I didn't know when somebody was Arab American until they came to our community and said they were. And now, it's kind of cool that our kids get to see people of their faith. And like Ilhan always says, they can see themselves in government now.
So I got to grow up watching Rashida be an elected official.
Yeah.
All right. So Rashida's like my older sister. Every time I make a mistake, I just get the text messages like.
Barry, I'm wondering whether he's sitting there thinking, I wonder why she's not covered up. They're supposed to be covered up.
Let me tell you this, and I don't want to get any flack, but I don't care what religion you are. You could be Jewish, you could be Hindu, you could be Muslim. That's not my problem. My problem is your ideology. If you are not going to assimilate, if your idea is you want to change America to fit your little box or whatever, that's where the problem comes. We all grew up with people of different religions. I mean, I lived, my dad moved us into a Jewish neighborhood, and who are these guys? Why are these guys walking around with these funny little hats on their head? And, that's how they were just our neighbors. Nobody tried to proselytize us. And then my grandmother, she moved into a big, I don't know what you call it, maybe a big convalescent. Her older boyfriend was a Jewish guy, and it was kind of funny to watch. But not a single one ever said, we're going to try and destroy your country. We're going to take away the Senate. We're going to get rid of the presidency. We're going to do this to the Supreme Court. That's the problem I'm having. It's not the religion. Go sit in wherever you are and do what you need to do and pray to whoever you pray to. Go ahead. But now what they're you notice how they're all smiling and glossing over. That's the problem. It's not the problem that there's people who look like you. It's what you're trying to do. And it's a scary thing. Very scary thing.
I wonder, you brought it up back in the past. I remember some of the things you said about that, but you said, when they take the oath, when they come into the country, it says you're supposed to assimilate, can't we do, I'm not an attorney, but can something be done? Like, especially these people who are in office, representing people, there's got to be something to get them deported, get them taken out of office.
Well, it's funny
I'm
because
being careful what I'm saying here.
I know, because like when my dad came from Jamaica and his brothers and everything, they were so proud that they went through the class. They had to learn the customs of the country. It's funny, people who actually go through the front door end up knowing more than kids who just go through regular grammar school. And they read the Constitution, and it takes a while to make sure you're ready. These people just show up and there's no respect for it. Now they're being put in government. Yeah, we're going to be in trouble if something doesn't happen very quickly.
Absolutely.
I didn't realize what she just said. 200?
I know.
She must mean in local governments and everything. There's definitely not 200 in Congress or in the Senate. So that's even scarier that they're seeding into the local areas. That's
and they're getting into the local school boards and everything. It's 200 now, then 2 years now it's 2,000, then 200,000. I'm not liking what I'm seeing and hearing. I don't like it at all.
It's very scary. All right, brother.
All right.
Thank you. Thank
See
you
you
very
soon.
much. You're
You got
welcome. Thank you. And I've got something for you, a little treat. I was going to talk to her yesterday. She wasn't available. I got a chance to speak with Monica Page, who's been on the show many times. She's back from having a baby, and this was the interview that we recorded a little while ago earlier today. Hey everybody, I've got someone here today who needs no introduction to the Fanfare family. It's Monica Page from the White House, and she's back after maternity leave. She's had the baby. Mother and baby seem to be doing fine. Hello, Monica. How are you doing today?
Hey, Barry, great to be back with you guys. I missed the whole community. I missed you. I missed being on, but now it feels good to be back despite this blazing heat. But we're doing great.
So first and foremost, how are baby and you doing?
We're doing fantastic. He's almost 4 months old. He was born big baby, 8 pounds, 4 ounces. Came out the sunroof because there was just no way. We were doing 16 hours of labor already. And we're like, all right, my husband, thank God he was there. I was like, we got to just C-section. So he came out perfectly healthy. He's beautiful. He's laughing. He's smiling. He's the best.
Well, let me go ahead and scare you because I know you're a petite woman and Daniel's not a real big guy. I was 8 pounds, 7 ounces, and I turned into this.
We're hoping, he's apparently 75th percentile in height, so maybe we'll get a 6-foot baby. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Get him playing some football or something. That'd be fantastic. So you're back in there, and I'm sure you have to hit the ground running just like Caroline Levitt did. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Let's talk about the immediate stuff first. At 3 o'clock or so today, President Trump's going to be having a roundtable about American mining. What is this, about coal, gold, silver? What's he going to be talking about?
Yeah, so this is huge for our national security. The president actually getting ready to leave shortly out of the front gates of the White House here. He'll be heading to the State Department with Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. You got Secretary of State Marco Rubio. You've got Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. They're all going to be joining together with CEOs of American mining to kind of bolster our national security, kind of replenish what was lost during this ongoing war in Iran. According to CBS, this administration is actually planning on also announcing up to $180 million in grants to boost educational and trade programs for those who maybe want to get involved in the mining process as well. Going to fund projects, going to fund the defense and strategic stockpiles here, workforce and education. This administration is huge on the trades and maybe choosing the trade programs over traditional college experience in universities. So we'll probably hear a lot of that from the president this afternoon. But this is huge for our national security, especially when it comes to mining. And we're going to hear maybe some rare earths are going to be replenished. There are materials like tungsten, germanium, and scandium. Those are like the three main ones we'll be hearing from as well. Yeah, so it's going to be a pretty big initiative, and we're not really tracking how long this roundtable is going to go for, but we're probably going to hear from some pretty hard hitters in the American mining industry.
No, this is specifically America. It's not about getting rare earth from Africa or Ukraine or anything. This is just right here.
Correct. Right here at home, homegrown American mining. And of course, bringing those jobs back to the United States, helping bolster our national security here in the United States, and making money here in the United States as well. So lots of benefits to it.
Have you heard or been any talk about what states will be impacted? Obviously, West Virginia, big mining area. Any other states that might see some impact from this?
Yeah, West Virginia, Arizona, a lot of the West Coast states, I think, are going to be involved in this as well. And maybe we'll hear from some mining CEOs from those states as well. So we're going to be tracking all that in the coming hours, of course, waiting on the president leaving any minute now. So hopefully we'll see him.
Where are they having it? Since it's not in the Oval Office, where is he going to? Do you know?
State Department. It'll be at the State Department.
Okay, great.
Yep, it'll be local.
So something else big happened today. What was this Lindsey Graham initiative that got passed with a big, overwhelming vote?
Yeah, 86-11, that overwhelming vote. The Senate passing Lindsey Graham, Senator unfortunately, late Senator Lindsey Graham's this Russia sanctions bill, where the president can now impose 100% tariffs on imports from the 5 largest buyers of Russian oil and natural gas. So we're going to wait to see what happens with that. It goes to the House and they'll vote on that as well after the August recess is over. We will definitely expect to see maybe the House leaning in favor of this, just like the Senate. But of course, this is kind of all up in the air right now. And we'll probably hear from the president as well after this bill just passed. So we're still kind of anticipating comments from the president. We might actually hear them in the roundtable. Still waiting on what's happening on Truth Social, of course.
Did they announce what those 5 countries are that might get hit?
Still tracking that as of right now. I don't think I have seen what those countries were just yet. I'm assuming that they're not the friendliest countries to the American public here, but it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out, especially as Russia continues with this operation in Ukraine. So we'll see.
Now, it's funny that voted in 86-11, I think you said. And it's interesting. Todd Blanche is he may get confirmed today, and it's going to squeak by as Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski both said no. But Bill Cassidy came out and said yes. Do you think that'll get confirmed today? And why was it so close?
Yeah, we're definitely anticipating that as well. You know, it's so interesting to kind of see the relationships between, certain members, especially when it comes to how they feel about certain picks from the Trump administration. I think there may be some people behind closed doors who may know some things about this guy that maybe the American people don't know. And maybe that's why some people are saying, this is a hard no for me. I can't budge on this guy. I'm sorry. I can't do this. We're anticipating him being confirmed. I think we're leaning towards that as well. But I think the reason why it's so close, especially when it comes to these picks, are because people will probably know some things or they're not happy they probably prefer one person over another person. That's just how it goes here in DC too. It can be kind of swampy with the relationships, I'm sure, as you can imagine.
Did you say kind of swampy?
Yeah, just a little bit.
You're in the middle of it. Speaking of swampy, the swampiest of the swamp, Mitch McConnell, is there any chatter as to what the heck is going on with him?
Oh, it's all quiet, but he lives, allegedly. He lives. We haven't seen or heard from the president regarding Mitch McConnell. We're hoping that he stays in good shape. I think it's, if you're asking for my opinion here, Barry, I think it's absolutely criminal that you can have somebody serving, and working on behalf of us from basically a nursing home, basically from an assisted living facility as well. I think it's pretty criminal that there are active members of Congress or even in the Senate that it's absolutely ridiculous to me.
And go ahead.
It's crazy. I think it's crazy. I mean, if you need help going to the bathroom, you can't be voting on, you don't know what's going on. That's what I'm trying to say. It gets me actually very upset.
And it was very interesting that he's supposedly okay being moved to some sort of recovering convalescent home, but he couldn't vote today on what was going on with Todd Blanche. It just doesn't make any sense. And speaking of voting, I got 2 questions for you. A, are the 20 senators who complained going to be enough to get John Thune not to go on recess, or are they just going to go on recess anyway? Honestly,
it wouldn't surprise me if they're just going to go on recess anyway, because that's what they do, unfortunately. But hey, if they're sticking to this and they're going to hold the line on this, then great. I think we can definitely, I hope we see some change here. I hope that they stick through, they hold the line.
Any chatter as to why they're not pushing this across? I feel like we're so close to basically beating up on the Democrat Party, but we can't get our own people to get it done. I mean, what's the issue?
This is the party here, Barry. This is what happens, unfortunately, here in DC, where everything comes so close and then things kind of go to die, unfortunately. But maybe I'm just cynical. Maybe it's just all the experience that I've had here in DC from what I've heard, from what I've seen, from what we've seen collectively in the past, that some things like this happen. But, maybe this could be what turns the tables. So we need to get this bill across ASAP. I mean, we need it for the protection of our country, for our own election integrity. We need it badly.
You know, this is probably like a hot potato for you, but I gotta ask because we saw the White House Correspondents' Dinner and how Trump went after a bunch of the reporters, and we're seeing what happened in Michigan and how these socialists are forcing their way in. I feel like it's putting journalists, reporters in a bad situation. We know a bunch of them are liberal, but are they really going to, even though they hate Trump, are they really going to get behind these socialists?
It's a great question. They really can't. I mean, that's what I think of. If you really want to be a true journalist and, you know, you put your opinions to the side, especially when you're trying to do your job, you know, when you're delivering the news to the American people, you want to keep that separate. Can they avoid it? I don't know, because it seems like this rising of these democratic socialists are kind of like, they're pretty much anarchists when you think of it. They don't like the media, whether you're on their side or not. They don't like you. They want full control. So it will be interesting to see how the media evolves, I think, over time. I mean, we've seen this homegrown DSA group rising up, and you're seeing it in cities like New York City, unfortunately. You know, I think that some journalists here will do their due diligence and do their job accurately, but they're going to have to deal with maybe some major fallout among some of their base who are doing this major shift to the far left.
Well, it's funny to me because we all know that some of these people on these different networks are making huge salaries, absolutely insane salaries. How do you justify backing a communist who you know hates you and what you stand for and the money you make just because you hate Trump?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. You know, that a lot of these big corporations, there's a lot going on behind closed doors, especially when it comes to the ownership, the CEO, the presidents, like what kind of conversations are they having? Where's money going behind the scenes? You know, it's very, very interesting to see how you just got to follow the money. And especially when you see, you know, major Muslim candidates winning in some of these states, it's concerning. And I'm sure there's money flowing on different kinds of coverage, you know, how I can give you friendly coverage for a nice pretty penny, et cetera. You know, these are actual ethical questions that people should be questioning, people should be thinking about. Because, you know, it would not surprise me if it's happening.
And the funniest thing to me about it is, I think it's catching journalists and reporters off guard because they're so used to people blowing smoke and lying to them. Whereas these communist socialists are telling you straight up, this is what we want. We want to destroy the Senate. We want to destroy the Supreme. And they mean it. They mean that. So I have to wonder, how does a journalist with any integrity actually report on this from a credible perspective? I mean, I don't envy, I mean, I know how you feel, but I don't envy some of these people having to balance this. It's crazy.
And you know, when you look at people like New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani, he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. So you can't even get mad at him. You know, this is what he ran on. This is what people voted for. And now he's doing it. So, you know, it's going to be really, really interesting to see how things play out, especially in the media, especially, you know, in Washington, D.C., even local journalists as well, you know, trying to do their jobs.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, from here, are you heading over to the State Department? Are you going to be covering this event coming up at 3 or 3:30?
So this event is for the press pool. I am not on the press pool today, but I will be on Tuesday of next week. We're going to be in the new media pool. So we'll be here at the White House all day covering whatever the president's doing here at home, in town pool. So we won't be traveling with him today.
Now, what's he doing this weekend? I noticed on the schedule, by the way, you used to post a schedule all the time, and now it looks like the White House press pool is scheduling all the time. He's going away again. Is there any events happening Saturday or Sunday, or is he just taking a couple of days off, as if he takes days off?
Sure. He'll be in Bedminster, New Jersey, right after this. I think he'll be heading over to New Jersey, where he'll be participating in probably a bunch of phone calls, different kinds of executive workings, but behind closed doors, nothing public to the American public, unfortunately, but we will probably see him on Truth Social, of course, weighing in on certain topics, you know, and letting people know what's been going on. But he will be in Bedminster, New Jersey at his golf course, and then he'll be returning back here to the White House Sunday evening.
Somebody's been kind of incognito lately. Have you seen or heard anything as to what Melania is doing?
No, I haven't seen or heard. The last I've heard of her, you know, she was celebrating the reunification of Russian and Ukrainian children with their families. I think now we're up to 33 kids reunited with their families, which is incredible. And I think we heard about 2 weeks ago, I think we heard from her, but she's always doing something incredible behind the scenes. So you just have to wait and see. Unfortunately, I always want to be part of her press pool and like whatever she's up to and whatever she's doing. But she keeps a very low profile, as she should. I do not blame her.
Now, speaking of things going on, what do you have coming up? Now that you're back from maternity leave, I see you're posting videos for TP USA Frontlines. What exactly are you going to be focused on in the upcoming days?
So we've been receiving tips to our Frontlines email account, which kind of alert us of what's been happening across the country. So as of recently, I covered the story regarding the Daughters of the American Revolution and how they just passed a bill this past June, overwhelmingly voting to not include the definition of a woman in their bylaws, which now opens the door to men who identify as women to join the Daughters of the American Revolution. So I broke down, I interviewed 3 different kinds of women who were part of this, and two from Tennessee and one from Texas, breaking down what this is all about, and if the different kinds of criteria it takes to become a daughter of the American Revolution, the genealogical mess that it creates as well. If you were a man identifying as a woman in this very prestigious organization that tracks the lineage, the gold standard of lineage, to be exact, and here in DC. And they kind of just were saying, we're going to hold the line on this. But these are the types of stories that I am covering, some culture war stories, whatever's happening here at the White House, we'll sum it up for you. But it's been really nice being back, of course, and I really appreciate the warm welcome.
Well, yeah, we've missed you and been looking forward to your stuff. Please don't make yourself a stranger. I know you're busy now. You're a wife, you're a reporter, and you're a mom. That's your number one audience at this point. So I wish all 3 of you guys well. When's number 2 coming?
Oh, give me a couple of years, maybe 3 years.
Yeah. It's always a jinx. It's like, not yet. Okay, I'll just get used to this one. But congratulations to both you and Daniel, and we will talk to you very soon. Stay safe up there in Washington.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks, guys.
All right, bye-bye. I love talking to the White House reporters. They always got so much information, always so upbeat. And with Monica and Reagan Reese, by the way, Reagan's birthday is Tuesday. So if you follow Reagan, say happy birthday to her, because her birthday is Tuesday. Monica just had her baby. Everything's going well. Love it. Love getting her back on. I was missing having her face and her insight. Once in a while we'd see her in the press briefing with Caroline Levitt, but just having her talk to us and tell us what's going on. I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Go ahead and follow her on X. So coming up, I want to finish, and this is kind of long. So let me just prepare you for it. President Trump did an interview with an outfit called Punch Bowl News. And so I've got the entirety of the interview for you here. It's pretty interesting. We're going to cut in a couple of times with some of the stuff he had to say, but this interview was with Punch Bowl News. Hold on one second.
This is a featured presentation from the Fanfare Newsroom.
We have 89 days until the midterm elections, something you've been focused on. But let's start with Save America Act. And the Senate and John Thune, the leader of the Senate, doesn't look likely, can't guarantee it doesn't look likely the budget resolution's getting on the floor this week. They're trying to wrap up a lot of business. That resolution does carry the blueprint for the Save America Act. Thune says it doesn't have the votes. You seem to think it does, or they should try or do something. He's been pretty pointed on this, Thune. He says he doesn't see a pathway to 50, 51, doesn't have 60. Democrats aren't voting for it. What's the disconnect between you and Thune?
Well, we have no disconnect. I think we have a good relationship, but I view that as a very important thing. It's voter ID. If you just even take the ballots out of it, the ballots are very important, but we do that another time. Voter ID, and it's proof of citizenship. And I figure you can't get any more basic than that. In other words, we want to see your citizenship. We want to make sure that you're a citizen to vote. We like photo ID just to make sure, because the elections are rigged in this country. The elections are a mess in this country. And that was proven in 2020, and it's been proven elsewhere. Look at the recent election that took place with the Spencer Pratt in Los Angeles. All of a sudden, they came from nowhere. It looked like he was in the runoff, or easily in the runoff. The other one was, the third place was a woman nobody ever heard of. She's crying. Oh, I didn't make it. She didn't make it by a lot. All of a sudden, she surged. Unknown people don't surge. And she surged after the election was over. And she ended up getting in the runoff. He didn't. Look, we're like a third world country in many cases, in many states. Third world country. So I think that I think it's very important. Save America Act is a very important thing. John's trying. He's trying hard. I really believe that. But if he doesn't get there, it would be unfortunate.
He says, why don't you get the votes for it?
Well, I can probably do that. But I have a couple of people that I won't do so well with. You understand why, right? They're no longer in power as soon as they leave on January 20th.
Should he put it up for a vote either way?
Yeah, I would, because I'd like to see the people that want to vote against it. I want to see the people, both Republican and Democrat, who vote against, because mostly it's Democrats. I mean, we have most Republicans, in all fairness. We'll have a few. We'll be, like a couple short or maybe one short, which we shouldn't be any. What Republican is going to vote against it?
I could tell you there's a couple.
I know the ones. You don't have to tell me. I know the ones, and I find it hard to believe. But you have all the Democrats are going to vote against it. Every Democrat is going to vote against it.
They have 5 times, to be clear.
Well, they do it over and over, and I think it should pay a price during the election, for the election. Every single Democrat is opposed. But not only that, they're opposed to even the great, big, beautiful bill. I like the term better than the one. I like the great better than the one. But the great, big, beautiful bill is something that they all voted against, every single one of them. So they voted against, no tax on tips, and they voted against Social Security, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, car loan deductions, all these things, these incredible things. They voted against everything. They vote against transgender all the time, the mutilization of your children. They vote against open borders. They vote in favor of open borders. They vote totally in favor of open borders. These people, it's the craziest thing. So I like having their hands go up voting against all of these things. But when you vote against, as an example, when you vote against the Save America Act, you're voting against fair voting. And when you think that they're voting against citizenship, I want to see a citizenship. These are things that nobody can understand when they're voting against photo ID. And, it was very interesting because in New York the other day, they were talking about the food store. And you see, they want to be licensed. They want you to be licensed in order to buy a loaf of bread. Maybe the same things also in New York. And these are people absolutely don't want anything having to do with elections. In other words, you can just walk in no matter who you are. But when it came to shoveling snow, did you see that? You had to get 2 forms of identification to get licensed to shovel snow. But to go in and vote, you don't need anything. No, it's no good.
So you have a government funding fight coming up September 30th, which is just, it's 5-6 weeks away, whatever it is. If it doesn't get done now, do you want to push for it in a
Look, I'm going to say whatever happens, happens. It was set up so that it would be before the election. And you could very well have a closed country because the Democrats are going to vote entirely against it. They're going to vote against
it. Well, they're for, it seems like they're for, yeah.
They're in favor of closing down the country. They're in favor of, look, I'll go a step further. I'd like to see a termination of the filibuster.
Well, you don't have the votes for that, right?
Oh, that's one I really can't believe.
Well, why? I mean,
that's even a step.
You say Democrats would do it. They tried.
You don't have Democrat votes right now. But if they get in office, 100% they'll terminate the filibuster. You know that.
Well, they tried. They weren't able to last time.
Well, but those 2 people are now out of service.
That's true.
They're doing other things and no longer politicians. And they wouldn't have been able to get elected they couldn't have gotten the nomination. But, and look, it's incredible. Termination of the filibuster, so good. And you have most Republicans in favor. And then you have some old line people that they actually believe, some of the Republicans actually believe the Democrats won't do it. And I would say,
and I'm one, I actually don't think that, I think there are a lot more people who are against it than it seems public.
I think the Democrats will do it in the first hour, day, and if they're really slow, week, it'll be done. And then you know what happens? You have 2 more states, so to speak, right? You have D.C. and you have Puerto Rico. You have 4 more senators. You have 8 more congressmen. You have 23 because the real number they want is 23 Supreme Court justices. That's their real number. They talk about 13. Who wants 13? Somebody was arguing about that. Who wants 13? You're going to pick 13, a lucky number, 13. You build a building, you don't show a 13th floor. So all of these horrible things are going to happen. I really believe you have a couple of people that believe, and I'm very surprised that you believe that. So you think that?
I think that there are a lot of people, when push comes to shove, are not going to be there to blow up the filibuster.
We'll make a gentleman's bet, okay?
I try not to bet on, I don't bet on politics.
And you know what? I hope I lose.
The Pentagon, as part of this budget resolution, the Pentagon is in line to get $60-some-odd billion. If they don't get that in short order, which is, what you want. You want this thing to happen.
And we're doing so well, and to have to break it up a little bit.
What would it mean if you didn't get that money? If the Pentagon didn't?
It's not good. The Democrats are kamikaze pilots.
But this is Republicans too right now. To be clear, on the budget resolution, it is.
It's not even believable that it's Republicans, okay?
But it is.
Not many, but it's a few Republicans, yes.
Let's talk about Todd Blanche, your Attorney General nominee.
Sure.
Bill Cassidy, Lisa Murkowski are on the fence. You think he's going to be confirmed?
All I can say is that he's a great gentleman. He's a great person. He's great at what he does. Everybody agrees with that. People think he's incredible. If they don't agree to do what they should do, it'll be very sad. And we'll all survive. Todd will survive.
You'll keep him in as acting.
Yeah, sure. He'll be acting.
Yeah.
But why should he be acting when... And, if he was a marginal... everybody agrees he's fantastic. He's great. He's fair. He's a fair guy, not a radical flamethrower. He's going to be acting, and, we'll try it again.
I wonder if you feel any, because a lot of these people who are against him, who have given you trouble on him, are people you endorsed against, right? I mean, you have Cornyn, Cassidy, Murkowski, you kind of
essentially
slag. Yes. Right. So
Murkowski, I was against.
Yeah.
I'm against Murkowski. I think I do more for Alaska than any president in history. No president's done for Alaska what I've done. She's not good.
Do you regret going against these people? It makes your agenda harder to get through.
Look, I don't regret it. You do what you have to do.
Yeah. Do you want Thune to serve another term as leader?
And just so you understand, they voted to impeach me.
No, I was there.
In all fairness, you think that I'm going to support somebody that voted to impeach me?
Yeah, no, I hear.
You know what, MAGA, my beautiful MAGA base, the greatest people on earth, you know what they'd do if I voted in favor of somebody that voted to impeach the person that they love and I love them? They would not be happy.
Do you want Thune to serve another term as leader? Would you support him?
Well, I don't want to get into that necessarily, but...
Why?
I'll tell you.
A lot of people are thinking about it. This is a big issue.
I get along with him. It's unfortunate that he doesn't have the vote.
But do you actually get along with him?
I do.
But you clearly you have big disagreements.
I do have disagreements. I believe strongly in terminating the filibuster. And by the way, getting Save America Act approved immediately, and about 400 other things in every hour of every day. Boom, boom, boom. You get whatever you want. You'd get.
Democrats would do it too, though, right? They'd get.
Well, they're going to do that. They're going to do that. If they get in, they're going to do it very quickly. I mean, you're wrong on that one.
We'll see.
They're going to do that so fast. And I say, as long as we all know that they're going to do it, I'm so shocked to hear you. But as long as I know that they're going to do that, you do it. I would do it whether they did it or not. We would get, in the next 2.5 years, we would get things that nobody ever dreamt of. We would be in office for the next 100 years. And I'll tell you what, if they get in, I may be the last Republican president.
Let's talk about the House.
If they don't get smart, if the Senate doesn't get smart, I may be the last Republican president. That's a big statement.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's right, but who knows? We'll see. Let's talk about the House. Mike Johnson will probably remain Speaker if he keeps.
He should.
If he keeps the majority. So if he loses the majority,
Mike Johnson is working with a majority of 2, 3. We've had it 1. We've had it if we're one heart attack away from losing the House.
In Congress, that ain't hard.
And you know what? We get a lot of things passed.
Yeah.
He's great. We work together great. He's a fantastic person.
If he loses it's going to be an interesting thing. The internal battles. If he loses, who gets the blame? I mean, Steve Scalise, Tom Emmer, Jim Jordan.
Great
look
people.
At it.
Everyone's great.
But you want Johnson to top House Republicans either way, no matter what happens.
Well, I don't think there's even a thought of anybody challenging him.
Well, I don't know.
Huh?
Well, there could be.
Well, I haven't heard it. I think I'd know. I think he's done a great job.
You should repunch.
And again, remember this. Look, remember this. we have a majority of sometimes one.
That's true.
Okay, it drops down to one. But let's say when we have three, we're in clover. Okay,
right.
And I think right now we're at 2 or 3. I think he's done a very good job.
Your critics on the Hill, Republicans, say privately, you don't really care about Congress. You don't care about losing the majority. You'll do your thing either way. You're president. You could do executive orders.
Not right.
Is that not right?
Yeah, it's not right. I'd love to win. I'm fighting hard. I just get back from a trip. I was in California. I was in Nevada, all over the place.
Yep.
No, I'm going to fight. We have I don't even call it a mini convention, but it is.
In Dallas, right?
It's a mini convention in Dallas. That was an idea that I had. I think it's going to be terrific. We're going to fight hard. We raised a lot of money. I raised a lot of money for just this purpose. I'll put in a lot of money.
Right.
It's very important for the country that we win, because you have people getting in office right now who will destroy this country. You're a person in Michigan that won the other night.
Abdul El-Sayed.
He is a disaster for the country. Got a good line of stuff. I watched him. He speaks well, speaks okay. Seen better. But I'll tell you what, guys like that get in, they'll destroy this country.
You said yesterday, you just talked about Nevada. You said yesterday gas prices, correct me if I'm wrong, they might go up again a little bit. You said.
No, that's only if I have to do another hit.
Okay, so I mean,
they'll only go down, or if we make a deal, they want to make a deal. They want to make a deal. Look, it's obvious. They don't want to be hit. Okay, they want to make a deal. So we'll see.
Because you're seeing that nervousness on the Hill about that.
It'll only go up if we have to do another hit.
Johnson has said in the past, if Republicans lose the House, it'll be the end of the Trump presidency to some degree.
Yeah, to some degree. Still have great blocking power, so they won't be able to do anything. In other words, they won't be able to destroy. Right? No, I have great block. I'm a great blocker, and they'll be putting horrible communistic type things in front of me, and I'll be just saying no, no, no. But I'd rather be a positive force than a negative force.
You've acknowledged a bunch of times that it's tough for the party in power to keep the House majority. It's a difficult thing, right? It only happens.
It amazes me, actually. So I've done a lot. I mean, I am very consequential. You look at the great, big, beautiful. You look at all of the things that we've done. You could make the case that nobody's done so much in a year and a half.
Why are they down on the generic ballot? Why? What do you think?
Well, let me just say it, and this is what nobody understands. Nobody understands it.
I wanted to jump in because I'm looking at some of the people in the chat and they're like, why this happened? Why this happened? You can tell, and I'm wondering if President Trump had authority, but they're editing this interview very. You can see the cuts. If you know what to look for, they're cutting. So I'm not sure if President Trump gave them prior authority that they can just do whatever they want with it. But it's very interesting when you see, like, he'll ask a question and before, something happens, it quickly cuts. So maybe President Trump did say something that this guy cut out. I don't know.
President in power, Republican or Democrat, as I call it, the president in power always loses. It's the craziest thing. 2 times.
96 and
they were a little unusual time.
Yes, they were.
There's a psychology down deep that nobody can explain.
Well, people want to check on power.
Well, they maybe want to check on power, but when you have somebody doing I did the greatest tax cuts, best tax cuts, biggest tax cuts. You look at no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, the deductions for buying cars and all the things. We have more money being invested in the United States now than at any time in history. I rebuilt the military. I mean, the things I've done. So even if you did a great job as president, they seem to lose. That's the only thing that I have going against us. For some reason, if the president, whoever is Democrat or Republican, loses on the midterms. And by the way, that's over the last 100 years.
Yes,
it's not 50, it's 100 years.
How do you handicap it now, House and Senate?
I think we're going to win, but I look at, I'll be honest, I look at this, not everybody was a bad president. We've had good presidents, and even good presidents, they tend to lose the midterm. So I don't know what that is. Other than that, I'd say we should win easily. Now, I think they're hurting themselves because we don't want communists in our country. You get a lot of bad candidates on the other side. And it's one thing to win in a radical left area, an area that tends to be very much on the Democrats' side. But I don't think he can win on a general election with that. I just don't think the people are ready for it. I don't think they'll ever be ready for it.
Do you, MAGA Inc., the super PAC that your allies control, has a lot of money and a lot of people?
Not my allies. I control it.
Okay. You and your allies.
$800 million.
Are you going to spend it?
It's funny. Nobody ever, of course, I'm going to do.
You're going to spend it in the midterms.
I could spend it on pretty much anything I want. I'm going to spend it I'm going to help Republicans.
This midterm.
And so when you say I don't care.
No, I didn't say that. I said some people say that.
Yeah, look, I mean, I could.
Oh, that's such a bull. You said it like that, but you actually meant it. Oh, I didn't say that, Mr. President. I said some people are saying it. You're talking to Donald Trump. You don't think he can see right through you? Oh, I didn't say it. Some people say it. Yeah.
Do a lot easier. I didn't have to be away in Nevada yesterday. I didn't have to be in Los Angeles yesterday making speeches. I didn't have to be supporting all the people. I have I have a busy schedule. I said to somebody, wait a minute, you don't understand. I won. I'm not campaigning. Now, that's the other thing. I get a tremendous vote. I have records in many of the states, the most votes ever in Texas and Florida and many, many states, Alabama. You can go through them, many, many states. The most votes ever. The question is, and they're asking this question, and I've had some great polls recently, real polls, but they're great polls. If I don't run, will those people go out and vote? And that's the one thing I can't tell. I'm going to ask them to, but I'm just watching guys like you and you're very talented people. The question is, will they vote? Because a lot of them are very angry at Republicans, to be honest with you. Why is that? I don't know. I mean, they're angry at Republicans. But they're not angry at me.
Interesting thing. Why?
They're not angry at me, but they are angry at Republicans.
Everyone's always angry.
And there are some areas that are basically Democrat, but they're Trump, like Pennsylvania. I win Pennsylvania easily. I win other places easily. Look, I won Michigan easily. I did well with Michigan. I did well with almost everything, to be honest. I did well with everything.
But it's a good point, Mike.
Now the question is...
Rogers lost when you were on the ballot.
Yeah.
And now he's up again.
Well, he lost when I'm on the ballot, and I won big in Michigan. But I happen to think he won.
Okay, well, that's...
No, I think it was a rigged deal. I think they rigged him out of it. But he's a very good candidate. I think he should do well. If we believe in polls. I actually sort of believe in polls.
Polls were terrible in the Democratic primary.
They were terrible in that primary. But if we believe in the poll a little bit, let's give it a little credit. They say he does better against Abdullah. It's Abdul, but I call it's the actual name is Abdullah, and then it's much longer than that.
Right.
But if you believe in the polls, he does better against Abdullah than he did against the young congresswoman.
Yeah. Should Kevin Warsh, your Fed chair, avoid a rate hike before the election?
Well, it's up to him a little bit, but not completely. He's got a board that's very political.
Right.
The United States should pay the lowest interest rate in the entire world.
So you think that he shouldn't hike rates before the election?
It's not totally up to him. It's up to a board. I think he's great. I won't be criticizing him, but I've said many times, in the old days, 20, 25 years ago, call it the old days, if you announced good numbers, the interest rates went down because you were a better credit.
Right.
Makes sense, right? Now it's all bakakt. Now it's all a different thing. If you announce great numbers, everybody's depressed because we have great numbers. They think what you're going to do is raise interest rates. But in the old days, when you announced great numbers, interest rates went down. So I want to go back to those days. We make many countries, elite countries. Take a look at Switzerland. We have a $39 billion deficit. I can wipe out that deficit in one stroke of the pen, and they're no longer an elite country. Yet they pay 0.5% interest. They're the lowest ones. And all I have to do is say, I don't want any of your watches, I don't want any of your goods. And we save ourselves $39, $40, $41 billion. And they go from being elite to being very troubled. Fortunately, I'm a nice person, okay? But just so you understand, they're paying 0.5 point. We're paying much more than that. In the old days, we were also the lowest interest rate. We should be the lowest interest rate again, because many of these countries that are very low on interest rates, they're only low because of us, because we're willing to subsidize. We're subsidizing many of the world countries, many of the most elite countries. I use Switzerland as it's very elite. I looked at the interest rates. They're paying the lowest interest rate. Well, without us, they would have nothing but problems. We hand them on a plate $40 billion. So we have a deficit, because I call a deficit a loss. Some people don't. Some people think, oh, well, it's not really, they come up with, to me, it's a loss. We hand them $40 billion a year. Without that $40 billion, they're no longer elite. And we should have the lowest interest rate anywhere in the world.
You had a meeting with Hakeem Jeffries a long time ago. I don't think you've had many more conversations with him since then. Maybe you have. What's your read of him?
I think he's a nice guy. I mean, I did. He was here.
Yep.
We had a good meeting. It was, look.
He's harsh on you. He says,
well, he's harsh because I'm harsh on him. I'm sure he wouldn't be so harsh. I've said bad things about him.
Could you do business with him, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Look, the people harsh on me, I'm harsh on them. It's part of the world. You cover it very well. You cover specifically Congress. You see a strange group of people. But I'd probably get along with them very well. I met him essentially once.
Yep.
I think I'd probably get along with him very well.
Just a couple more questions on policy. AI, big issue that Congress is basically nowhere on, and they can't get their act together on AI.
Well, in one way that's good, in one way that's
you could argue it either way. But what do you think of
you want to regulate them out of business?
What do you think of the big question that we have all the time is what is going to be the political impact of data centers? I mean, I know you've taken action. Congress is going to try to take action. It's going to be in the next 10 years a big political issue.
So the way you look at AI, whoever wins AI just wins. It's that big. It's bigger than the internet by many times. It's going to be bigger than anybody ever thought possible. Not even imaginable how big. I saw Texas the other day sort of is against data centers. I think it's a mistake. And I'm not taking positions, I just think it's a mistake because there are other communities that want it. When a community wants it, it means a lot of money is going to come into that community.
Unsightly, potentially.
Well, I don't think they're unsightly. I mean, I'm looking at some of these data centers, the most incredible buildings I've ever seen. They go for 2.5, 3 miles. They're 3 miles by 3 miles.
They're necessary for the technology.
Well, but I think they are tremendously important for the economics. I mean, this is for Texas to say no to data centers is a mistake in the sense that it could be bigger than oil. I mean, data centers could be bigger than oil. You have the Texas oil, and there are a lot of communities that want them. But more importantly, and bad for us, there are a lot of countries that want them. And if we turn off on data centers, or we turn off on AI, we are leading, because of me, we're leading AI. Remember this, I came up with an idea that was a great idea. Nobody thought it was serious. They didn't even believe it. They didn't even put in plans with it. I said, when you build your data center, I'm going to let you build your own electric sources, your electric generating source. They said, well, that's too good to be true. They didn't believe me. It took them a month to realize I was serious, and I'm going to get you fast approvals. Lee Zeldin is great. And now, when they build a plant, they're becoming like a utility, a public utility. So they're building a big portion of the building is now their own generator. So we're not taking that from the public. We're not taking it from the grid. And then at a very cheap price, and maybe for nothing, they're taking their excess electricity, which will be a lot, and they're putting it back into the grid. Now, if I didn't do that, we wouldn't have one building being built in this country, because we have an old grid that's tired, it's exhausted. And these things, the one thing they need a lot of electricity. The word is electricity. They need more electricity than the entire nation uses for everything. Think of it. If you took your electricity output for everything, they need more than that number, and sometimes people would say twice that number. It's hard to believe. It's unbelievable. But they're building their own plants. They're not going to be taking it from the grid, and they're going to be actually giving it back. And very importantly, those communities are going to make a fortune where they have the new data centers going. So if I were a governor, I would want data centers so badly. I'll cut taxes. I mean, taxes are going to go way down, because this is a tremendous source of income.
Two more quick questions.
And we can't let China beat us at this.
As he's talking about this, and I've seen it so many times in our own chat of people being afraid of data centers, quite leery of AI. And, if we don't win this race in terms of AI, it's going to put us way behind China. It's going to be to our detriment. And I think it's incumbent. I'm not going to try and change anybody's opinion. I just think it's incumbent upon each one of us to do as much research as possible and not listen to the peanut gallery and the propaganda. It is extremely important that you understand everything he just said. The values go up, they don't go down. The values for where the data centers are going to be it's going to be exponentially more valuable. The data already proves that. SV and I looked at it. We've showed it at one of the shows. The propaganda is, my home values are going to go down. It's BS. They're talking about how it's going to cause your electricity to go up. As he just said, they have to build their own electric plant in conjunction with the data center. And then they end up selling the excess electricity back to the city or the town. So there's so much misinformation going around. Even when you hear it coming out of his mouth, people will walk away and they will still think to themselves, my property values are going to go down and my electric bill is going to go up, even as he's telling you how it's being developed. And so instead of listening from the outside, instead of listening and hearing me say it, go do the research. It's very easy to find. Yeah, I mean, when that lady was on our show and she said something, SV, while the interview was going, we just went ahead and researched it and found out it's incredible how much the values go up. Like it went up, like the SV can put it in the chat, but I think it was like 300% is how much more the property values in these areas went up.
People think that the campaign that's being put on is being paid for by China.
A lot of people
and we have President Xi coming here in a couple of weeks, and we're going to have a great time, but I'm going to talk to him about it. But I don't blame him. You know, we do things and they do things. But a lot of people think that because they are losing to us in AI.
One of the things that Congress is wrestling with now is crypto. A big crypto bill is on the agenda. Democrats want to impose ethics restrictions and limit your ability to conduct your family's ability to conduct crypto business while you're in office. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'll tell you, it's very interesting because Nancy Pelosi, nobody ever did that with her. And I believe crypto is very important because if we don't have it, China's going to have it. They all want it. Okay. And we've done a great job on it. We've done. Biden all of a sudden at the end became very strong for it because he saw I was getting all of the business. I did it for a lot of reasons. One of them was politics. There were a lot of people, like they say 100 million people worldwide and a lot of people.
Right.
And then Biden saw what was happening. I was killing him. And he all of a sudden loved crypto. But I do it very simply because we can't let China have it or Japan have it. Other countries really want it and we dominate in it. So to me, it's very important. But they want to do a bill. And in the bill, they want me to be different than everybody else. So
you're against that, it would sound like.
Well, I don't mind putting it in a blind trust. I don't run my stuff anyway. I let my kids run it. And I never talk to them about things. If they want to go into, they're not involved in government. I don't talk to them about government. I don't talk to them about much other than to say, I love you kids. They're good kids. But we don't want to see China take over crypto. I don't want to see China win with AI and crypto. Crypto is a big deal. I mean, I see it more and more where people are paying with Bitcoin. And, they don't even know about cash anymore. That takes a lot of pressure off our dollar. It's a good thing for our country. But if China took over crypto, which they would love to do, or if China took over AI, which they would really, so we are leading with AI on China. Nobody thought that was possible. The reason was energy, because he can create, he's an amazing guy. China can create unbelievable amounts of energy. And they use coal and they use oil and gas and they use, they make a lot of windmills, but they don't use too many windmills because they're smart, because wind is a disaster.
I don't understand your obsession with that, but
No, you know what my obsession is? I want the country to be successful. We subsidize all of this wind. You shouldn't have to subsidize energy, number one. But wind is a very expensive form of energy.
Some Republicans are against you on that too, but
that's because they don't understand the business.
Last question for you.
Did you catch that? The guy he didn't even acknowledge what he just said. The reason they don't understand is because they don't understand business. And he just blew past it because this guy asking the questions is just like the people who oppose things. You don't understand business, and because you don't understand business, you can't have a conversation with somebody who does. And so President Trump opened a big door right there for him. Can you explain it to me? I don't, but these people will never say, I don't get it. I don't understand. It's beyond my comprehension. Let him explain it to you. That's what you're sitting in front of the president of the United States. That would have been a perfect follow-up question. Mr. President, you're right. I've never owned a business. I've never really done anything entrepreneurial. Please explain to everybody what you just said and why it's important. And then shut up and let him tell you. But they all have their own agendas. They all decide what they're asking is more important than the answer. If you don't want to hear the answer, then don't ask the damn question.
Democrats do take over the House. It's just going to be investigation mania. They're going to do oversight. They could impeach you again. I mean, do you think they will?
Well, a lot of people are saying I'm one of the greatest presidents ever.
They're not saying that, though.
But they know, they see the results. Look, we have right now more money being invested in the United States than at any time in history, more money than any country has ever had being invested. We're at numbers that we're building more factories, plants, and I'm not just talking about AI, yes, but auto plants of all kinds. Toyota just announced they're coming in with the largest plant anywhere in the world. They're leaving Mexico. They're leaving Canada. People are leaving, the car companies are leaving Germany. They're leaving Japan. They're all coming here because of tariffs, because of my very smart use of tariffs, because
But will they impeach you, do you think?
He didn't even want to hear the answer. Did you notice that? President Trump's like, we're bringing in trillions of dollars. We're building manufacturing plants. We're doing this. We're doing that. Doesn't even care. Are they going to impeach you? See, that's the problem with the media right now. You probably are starting to recognize it. It's like you asked a question, he's giving you an amazing answer, and you don't follow up on what he just said. And that's, people have said, it pisses me off when people say he's repeating himself. Oh, he said this last week. Now you know why he has to repeat himself. The reporters won't report on what he actually says. He gave him 4 or 5 points in a row there that any smart person could have expounded upon and made that interview 2 hours. Hey, listen, so how much more do you expect to bring in manufacturing? How much more? How many more plants do you foresee you opening in the next 12 months? Find out what's going on, not what you want to ask him. And so let me move back like 20 seconds and hear him fire off 4 or 5 facts that this guy could have asked him. Here, let me go right here. Okay, listen.
Auto plants of all kinds. Toyota just announced they're coming in with the largest plant anywhere in the world. They're leaving Mexico. They're leaving Canada. People are leaving, the car companies are leaving Germany. They're leaving Japan. They're all coming here because of tariffs, because of my very smart use of tariffs, because
But will they impeach you?
Didn't even follow up. That would have been a perfect, if I was sitting in front of him, I don't know, Caroline, you better give me a call. But if he's talking about it, I want to hear more. Yes, all these companies are leaving other areas and coming here. It is now August of 2026. Where do you see things by, say, January of 2027? How many more deals do you have in the works? Is it going to continue? And let him talk. And how many more jobs do you expect? And what do you think the prices of these automobiles are going to be as more people are producing them here? I mean, just amazing information he's telling this guy. Oh, you think they're going to impeach you? Wow.
They'll be.
It's hard to believe they could, but
they'll be all over you. They'll be subpoenaed.
It's a very unfair thing. Yeah, it's a very unfair thing. You know, when I was president, and I made the statement a lot about Hillary Clinton, they wanted to impeach her, they wanted to destroy her, and I said, you just can't do that. And then I get in there and they tried to do the same thing with me. They were vicious. So I guess they might be.
Are they more vicious than Republicans?
I think the Republicans are too nice, actually. I think the Republicans are much nicer. I think the Republicans are much more gentle than the Democrats. I think the problem with the Democrats, they have bad policy. They're smart, they're vicious, but they have really bad policy. Open borders, let the whole world come into our country, let prisons be emptied out into our country. The transgender mutilization of your children, that's fine with them. All of these things that they have men playing in women's sports, they want men playing. They have horrible policy. They love crypto. They love AI, but they don't like it if I'm involved in it, because if I'm involved, like, as president, look, I've created the greatest market ever. Nobody could believe that we're leading substantially China, as an example, in AI and in crypto. And it's because of me. Biden was against all this. I don't think Biden had any idea what it was. But our country right now is doing better than it's ever done. You know, when I see polls on the economy, I should have 150%, not 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have the greatest. This is the golden age of America. What's being built now in this country has never, ever been built. And we are literally in the golden age of America. And I think people are starting. I actually think people are starting.
We'll see. 89 days. We'll see if they.
It's going to be very exciting.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
I can honestly say that I've never sat like that in my entire life with my legs crossed like a woman. Let's be honest. Crazy. And, you know, it really is like living in a different world when you hear him talk and you look over at the people on social media, because that's where everybody congregates. It's the nation's or international soapbox where everybody's got something to say, and they're all just spewing crap. Everything sucks. None of them talk about the manufacturing. None of them. Not a single person in that cadre of podcasters talks about all the different things that are working. Is gas too high? Yeah, temporarily gas is higher. But they're not talking about the fact that data centers, AI, manufacturing, the money coming in from tariff, it's just so much. And then, I see this comment here, and I'm thinking to myself, this is fantastic. This is somebody posted, a guy, and I want you guys to basically see this comment. And it says, Barry, I work for the city as a trash man, and to make extra money, I drive Lyft, which is the same as Uber. Well, not the same, but that type of thing, rideshare. And my goal every day is to pick up the rest of his comment. My goal is to pick up 10 people every single day. Let me see if I can bring that up in here so I can finish it. And then he says, if I do 10 people a day, he gets $700 per week. Come on, man. The 10 passengers, he gets $700 a week. That's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I applaud. Let me do some applause there. Yeah. Let me make sure I represented that right, because when it comes on screen, it gets, okay, it says, I work for the city as a trash man, and to make extra money, I drive Lyft, and my goal every day is to pick up at least 10 people. When I do that, I make $100. That's $700 extra per week, on top of what he makes in his job. And then, once you start doing that a couple of weeks and it's working, you can do a whole bunch of other stuff. Ingenuity and ambition drive everything. Love it. Love it. Congratulations for you for having that drive to get that done. SB, what you got?
Hey. We got Pirro back in the spotlight. I had two stories about, Jeanine Pirro. She's still doing a good job. I had two cuts, but then I saw Trump just posted a short time ago on Truth Social about how, I'll just let people know, you can show the post, have her revisit the vandalism, because the photos that they shows at the bottom of his post show that the pool was vandalized. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to? I could read it.
No, you can go ahead. Now,
Okay.
let me stop you. Let me stop you for a second.
Sure.
I'm looking at the pictures here, right? I don't know who Andrew Layden is, but Andrew's got pictures of the damage. Do you think that possibly she had these pictures in advance, or it makes you wonder, like, where are these pictures coming from? You know what I mean?
Yeah, if not, that means she did not do the full due diligence, right? So it's not going to be a good look for her if it does turn out to be true. But somebody said in the chat, he's not letting go of this because he knows he's right. And as we all know, Trump has been right pretty much about everything, right?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, take it.
All right. Yeah. All right. So he wrote, now that people are able to see it up close, they are reporting pure vandalism at the reflecting pool. Thank you, Andrew Layden, for your observation. The material was cut right where the video showed for 300 feet or more. People were on their knees with their hands in water at the exact location of the slashes. Additionally, there were witnesses to the vandalism, and the flexible areas of the material were cut with a knife. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro should revisit her hastily made decision, especially since it turned out that the gentleman involved is a big player in Act Blue, a disgraceful fundraising scam, and is represented by a Trump deranged sleazebag, political hack lawyer Norm Eisen and crew, a group that uses charity for political purposes, which is, to the best of my knowledge, illegal. I have been beating Eisen, a complete lunatic, in court for 10 years or more. He just keeps on coming, but I always win. President Donald J. Trump.
And that guy Norm Eisen, if you've ever seen, like, he just looks like a weasel. He talks like this. I'm suing Trump. I got 300 cases against Trump. I sue him all the time. I wake up in the morning and I file lawsuits against Trump. I'm like, this guy. I'm like, imagine your life, and somehow you're making money off of people wanting to file suits every place. Him and Mark Elias are both just absolutely disgusting. He also posted.
TDS is strong in that one. Yeah.
He also posted this. It says, the Protect College Sports Act is a great bill, and the Senate will hopefully stay in D.C. until it passes. Nope, the Senate ain't going to stay. I mean, he's going to have to keep beating up on them. Without this bill, millions of young athletes will be hurt, programs will be canceled, women in Olympic sports will go away, the fans will be robbed, the universities will go broke. Nobody has done more to protect women athletes than me. And this bill clearly protects the laws in 27 states protecting women's sports and banning men from women's sports. Anyone who tells you different is lying. Stop grandstanding and try getting this done. Well, the whole grandstanding part is that these senators, was it Murkowski and Collins, they just don't want to do anything to help the American people. I don't know what the hell it is, but they just, it's crazy. You know, it's funny. While we were talking about the Enos Cantor thing, I saw this post. I wanted to show it to you. Let me see. Where is it? Do I have it here?
From Riley?
No, this woman's name is Selena Mariposa. And look at what she puts up here. It's pretty cool. It's sort of what we were talking about.
All right.
She said, and so first of all, she did an AI video. Let me show you the video way down here.
he will fit right in. He's perfect.
But it's a really long post. I won't go through the whole thing. But what she said basically is what we said. You know, number one, he doesn't intend on playing. He's now forcing their hands. And so he's like, she says that this is the interesting part. She goes, the league now has 3 doors, and every one of them is the story. Door number 1, they reject him because he's a dude. That concedes the category is biological, which is the sentence they have spent years refusing to say out loud, and Sophie Cunningham would then be owed an apology in writing. So that's what's waiting for them in door number 1. It's like, sorry, this is for women only. Oh, what's a woman? Now you're going to have to define it. Door number 2, they reject him on some other ground, age, tryouts, prior league, whatever the lawyers can find, but he meets the currently published criteria, and every workaround they invent is a rule they could have written for the real question but chose not to, which could also open them up for a lawsuit. And then door number 3, they admit there is no written standard at all. That's the one nobody is ready for, and I suspect is the true one. Meanwhile, the phones are apparently ringing. They are stuck. I mean, they are. Remember, it's not just Enos who they might say is doing it for publicity, but the other actual tranny who's over in Europe is like, I want to play. So now
this is a soap opera, man. This is crazy. What's behind door number 4, Barry?
Yeah, there is no door.
That's what I'm saying.
Trump.
Yeah.
Well, see, the problem is there was some people in the chat were like, how sad is it we've got to the point in this country, in the world, where it's bad to define a man. And I was listening to, a woman, and I was listening to Coco Gauff, the tennis player who came out, and she basically said kind of the same thing Sophie Cunningham said. Yeah. And something struck me as I was driving over here when I listened to it. When they keep referring to, well, I support the trans community. I don't want anybody to get pissed off at me, but what trans community? If somebody said the Hispanic community, yeah, I see them all the time. I go to Mexican restaurants, or if I go to the black community, hey, there's black people, or the fisherman community, or the surfer community. What community is trans? I don't know if people have actually thought.
1% of the population. Yeah.
So that means I think is it 1%? We don't
that.
know. We don't know because they haven't. Yeah. How do you determine what it is? So I support the trans community. What the hell does that mean?
Open up the mental hospitals again, the asylums. That's where you find a lot of them.
Well, the thing I look at is, why do you have to support something that is a matter of identity? There's no word. There's no blood test. It's no skin color. I mean, you're black, you're Hispanic, you're Jewish, you're Puerto Rican, you're Muslim. What is a trans? Somebody who says, I want to dress up like a woman. That's the only criteria they have right now.
It seems, yeah.
What do you do there? I have no idea. That's interesting. Like, how would you define? If you can't define a woman, you can't define trans.
Yeah.
Can you?
I have a lot of definitions, but you don't want to hear them. I'd probably demonetize your channel. Trump just landed in New Jersey. I just sent you the clip at the last Eric Doherty. He just arrived.
Oh, he just got in Jersey. I was searching during the interview to see if he had done a gaggle, but I didn't see anybody posting interviews from the gaggle. But here he is landing or deplaning in New Jersey.
On a smaller plane. That's not Air Force One, too. That's a smaller.
No, yeah, because Bedminster could never fit the big jumbo jet. So not sure what he's going to be doing there. I looked on his schedule. His schedule was packed, but a lot of private stuff going on. I know one thing, we may want to look around. We may want to look around for boom booms this weekend. Who knows? That's
I
crazy.
hope he's protected. Yeah. And then a story right before, Colombia's new right-wing president was just sworn into office. Right above that, it doesn't have the cut number because I just posted it right above.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Let me go here. Colombia's new right-wing president. Go ahead.
All right. Colombia's new right-wing president, Abelardo de la Espriella, has just been sworn into office. He's a massive Trump ally, and the Trump admin is already gearing up for a military partnership with Colombia to destroy the drug traffickers. Barry, remember the Avengers? There we go.
Avengers.
Let's go. This is the American hemisphere. The right wing is rising across Latin America. It's only a matter till communist Cuba is next.
Yeah, they're in trouble. I mean, they're going to get squeezed at this point. All righty, that's
All right.
all I got for today. I mean,
Almost 3 hours, right?
Yeah, and believe it, I have
Doing good.
I have a whole lot more stuff, but I'm gonna hold it till tomorrow.
I
By
believe
the
you.
by the way, I don't know if you
Yes.
guys tuned into it yesterday, but I mentioned to you guys the Hall of Fame game, the official start of the NFL
yeah.
season, happened last night. Huge crowd. And it's football season. There are no more weekends without football from now until basically February. So crack open a cold one.
Go, hey, go New York Giants. Let's go. Come on.
You know, it's funny. Giants, if you had put like a gun to my head, I don't even know who their quarterback is. Daniel Jones isn't there, and he's an Indian. And then you got your running back who doesn't know smart enough to not try to do somersaults. Didn't he break his leg? What's a Scatabo, whatever his name?
I don't know. At this point, Biden might be a better quarterback. I don't know.
Well, actually, your quarterback, I do have to root for you because that's the kid that introduced President Trump that they all went after, right? What's his name? He was pretty good. What's his name?
Isn't it Dart?
Dart, yeah, Jackson Dart. So that makes me have to root for him because he's a good guy.
Thank you.
Yes, I hope you're doing well. Me down here, we're playing like a potluck. It's like a potluck dinner. We have no idea what the Dolphins are going to do. I think they went out. They think they went out and signed like 100 guys and just said, who wants to wash the jerseys after practice? Because half the guys I have never even heard of. But they're people are saying that they're gelling as a team, so we shall see. But
they've been trying to gel for the last 20 years, I think, Barry. That's what
I'm thinking 8-9, 9-8. I'm being really optimistic. Some people are like, I think ESPN said they looked that they may go 1-16. I don't think they'll be that bad. But yeah,
that's close to what the Giants did last year. I think they were like 4-13 or something like that. I lost count after they lost 10 in a row. Anyway,
all right.
I hope you have a good evening, sir.
You too. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's look at super chats. Let me move this over here. Chiefsap says, you never get paid what you're worth. You get paid what the work you do is worth. It's called value. If you think you're worth more money, go do work that pays more or go do it yourself. There's a novel concept. I'm worth more than this. All right, prove it. Do it yourself. Get a gig. LTN 6500. Great podcast, Barry. Anything the Democrats touch turns to poop. Thank you. And you're right. Boompa. Awesome, Barry. I truly hope people see the opportunities America has to offer. I worked 3 jobs and finally found one that paid more than all 3. Congratulations. Yeah, you have to actually be looking for the opportunity and understand how to grab that opportunity when you see it. And just the story I related about my granddaughter being 13 and when your eyes are basically open for the first time at that young of an age, you don't know that you have boundaries, you can succeed a lot. Tim, how you doing? Dr. Oz is secular Muslim, not a fanatical jihadist raised in traditional Islam, married a Christian, raised his children in the Christian faith. Exactly. See, it's not the religion. Tim McCurry, I don't care about one's religion or even which way they swing. What's their core political ideology? Scott Besson is a perfect example. True patriot. Yes, he's a gay man. Alec, Deep State wants to get hold of U.S. weapons. To do that, they are using commies and a la snack bars to crush the country. The military will never let that happen, regardless of who is running the country. I agree. Hey, Tim again. Hi, Barry, SB Mods. Thanks, Barry, for Fanfare Family. Thanks for staying true to MAGA and core principles. You're a force, brother. God bless you. It's in me. It's just how I am. I'm not doing it because it's just happened to be an act. I mean, I try to do that every single day in my own life. I try to instill it nationally, and I'm trying my best to instill it in the grandkids as well. Jose. Hi, Barry. Long time no say. Hey, Jose. I went back to school and became an aircraft mechanic. So I love hearing this kind of stuff. People are like, wait a minute, I'm done. I haven't reached the end. I can do something better. And now he becomes an aircraft mechanic. Wow. Wow. Linnell, I make extra money finding vacant homes for investors. I got my sister and niece started making extra money cleaning up those homes. You guys are seeing it. I mean, as you're looking at it in the chat here, people are saying, I found the key. I found a way, and it's working. Wow, congratulations. President Trump usually records his interviews. Also, maybe he'll release the unedited version to humiliate the guy in his fake news network. He should. Demon of Cybertron, he put Switzerland out there, Swiss bank accounts. I'm sure these people have bolt holes of money placed someplace. Tim, interviewer was hardball, prickish at times, maybe mostly meat and potato questions, whatever his political view. Trump respected his questions. Yeah, because if he didn't, he'd have got up and walked out. Chiosop, Texas doesn't want data centers. They want mosques. I don't know what Abbott's doing now. Hey, Abbott. R. Heath, to be fair, his original question was, do you expect them to impeach you? Yep, that's what his question was. Ghost Moore's Barry, I work for the city. I just read that as a trash man, and to make extra money, I drive Lyft. And my goal every day is to pick up at least 10 people. And when I do that, I make $100. I love the fact how you explain it. I know if I do 10 rides and I commit to doing 10 rides before I go home, I'm going to make $100. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Tim, people with hurt fifis need to grow a pair. Did Trump look like his nipples hurt? Every question allows Trump to bring the truth and drive it home. And to imagine that there's some people out there who get pissed off because he has to repeat himself. And Chiosop, if they open asylums, there will be no more Democrats. True. And Alec, these people are enemy combatants. Time to act. Yeah, and I don't like the fact that they're laughing in our face, too. That makes it worse for me. All right, you guys, it's 5:50. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday, and we'll see you tomorrow sometime.
Bye.